All right, good morning, everybody. What's going on? How's everyone doing today? Great fight last night. First off, that has to be said. I didn't see it coming, right? Um, Huge upset. Ironically enough, my friend and I were watching this fight last night. We were at the casino, and I was watching the fight uh, on my device, and he opened up his betting app, and he was saying to me, "Why don't we just lay a little something on Kambosos by decision, right?" I think Kambosos was like by decision like a plus 2400. And I said to him, I said, I just don't see it happening. And lo and behold, he wins by decision. And we were sitting there kicking ourselves. All we had to do was lay like 50 on Kambosos. We would have had a nice little score for ourselves. But again, we can't Monday morning quarterback it. We can't second guess ourselves. Oh, I guess we can second guess ourselves, but we can't cry over spilt milk because it is what it is. First off, again, I was very high on Teofimo Lopez before he fought Lomachenko. I followed his career. I thought this kid was going to be a phenom. I just loved the way he fought. Now, obviously, we saw in the Nakatani fight, he had some personal problems going into that fight, and admittedly, he admitted that affected his performance, right? Thought that was a one-time thing because after that, he started having some very good performances. We saw him in the Comey fight, and he more than made up for that little, I don't want to call it a bump in the road, but a less than stellar performance that we were a little surprised at the time. But that was a part of what we saw last night in terms of the mental fortitude of this man. He did allow personal problems to enter the ring that night against Nakatani. And that may have been a sign. At that particular time, I dismissed it. And, I put it all on the back burner. I said that was like a one-time thing, happens to everybody. Maybe he'll learn from that, that he can't allow personal feelings and emotions affect his training and creep into the fight on fight night. Now, obviously, fighters are human. That could happen to anyone, but the great ones have to fight that and overcome that. And we've heard the great ones say that they have faced issues before going into fights and they had to fight through it. And that's why we have great fighters and that's why we have good fighters. But after that Lomachenko fight, started seeing evidence of what was shown in that Nakatani fight. Seemed very frustrated, Teofimo Lopez, listening to him in interviews, reading his tweets. Something seemed to be off psychologically with this guy, right? Seems to always have some type of chaos going on around him, and his father doesn't help him. His father's always, yelling and saying crazy, outlandish things, right? Just like Angel Garcia and Danny Garcia. So you could argue that his father is his own worst enemy, and he's probably not the greatest thing in the world for his son. Now you can argue, well, look what he did with his son, but I think that was more of a product of his son just having natural ability, right? All the delusional, outlandish things that Teofimo Lopez Sr. has said, saying that his son was going to be the greatest of all time before even proving it, saying that they were talking like they had all this leverage, right? And I get it. You won a big fight. That's great. That's great. You won a big fight. It was a huge accomplishment, but they had this mentality like they already made it. And you got the sense that maybe some of the hunger was lost, right? They had this sense of entitlement. Like, okay, we have leverage now. Everyone has to come to us. We don't have to prove anything anymore. We've already proved everything we had to prove by beating Lomachenko. Now we're superstars. We're the best fighter in the world, blah, 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 blah. And that's great. It's good to have confidence, whatever. But once you get to that level and you think you've done it all, then your mentality changes, right? They were saying crazy things like, okay, we'll fight at a catch weight against Josh Taylor when we'll put our undisputed title on the line and his undisputed title on the line. You can't do that, because if you fight over the 135-pound limit, then you can't put your titles on the line. So that was one crazy delusional thing they said, right? Then you heard his father say, well, the only guy that can beat Canelo Alvarez is my son. In 5 years, my son's going to beat Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is like 31 years old, I think 31, 32 years old, I believe. And he would 5 years from now, he's going to be 37, 38 years old. You think he's going to fight Teofimo Lopez at 160? He's not going to go down to 160. So like all these crazy things they said, oh, we won the Lomachenko fight 10 rounds to 2, whatever, 11 rounds to 1. Just outlandish things that they've said, you know, and then this whole debacle with Top Rank sitting there trashing Top Rank. And again, go and get your money. If you think you're worth a certain amount of money, then go out there and get it. That's fine. Go out there and get it. But you're sitting there trashing Bob Arum, and then you go right back to him and sign another long-term deal after trashing the promoter that you say wasn't showing you respect and didn't pay you what you were worth. The whole Triller thing, it was kind of crazy how that whole thing played out. But throughout the whole process, you just heard all these crazy statements being made by Teofimo Lopez Sr. And then the son started, saying some of these crazy things too. Oh, we're going to go up to 140. We're going to take on Josh Taylor. And then criticizing Josh Taylor, saying he's afraid because he wants to go up and fight Terrence Crawford. But again, you guys want to leave 135, and you have instead of fighting a Lomachenko rematch, instead of fighting a Devin Haney, instead of fighting the guys down there, you want to just go right to 140. And I understand the guy's having weight problems, but Josh Taylor is probably having weight problems too. He doesn't have an easy cut at 140 either. He's 5'10". He's a big dude. It's not inconceivable to imagine that he wasn't having problems making 140, so he wants to go up. Pretty much the same thing that you guys want to do. And I have no doubt that Teofimo Lopez was struggling to make 135. I get that, right? I get that. You could argue that maybe he should have went up to 140 right after the Lomachenko fight. You can argue that because they've been complaining for a while that he has had problems making 135. He's like 23 years old. He's still growing, whatever, hasn't gotten his man strength yet. Maybe they should have moved up to 140, right? They kept talking about time and time again how they could not make 135 comfortably. We saw that. We saw them say that, right? So maybe they should have just went up to 140, right? Oh, and to just say that, okay, we're automatically going to get that Josh Taylor fight. Why not fight a Cepeda first? Why not get your feet wet at 140? Why just jump right into the title fight for undisputed? I believe Terrence Crawford and Josh Taylor are going to fight next. That's what I believe. So I don't think Josh Taylor is going to stay at 140. He may not even fight as mandatory. I'm not even sure if I don't even believe that they have that signed. I know that was mentioned, but I bet Josh Taylor just goes up to 147 to fight Terrence Crawford because we know Errol Spence isn't going to fight Terrence Crawford next. I suspect that's going to be the fight, in my opinion. And, then you hear Teofimo Lopez Sr. and Jr. after the fight saying we won that fight 10 rounds to 2. I was telling my son round after round that we were winning this fight. Come on, man. If you're telling your son round after round that you're winning that fight, right? We're not going to sit here and argue about scorecards. I had this fight wide for Kambosos, wide for Kambosos, right? I had Kambosos winning 9 of the 12 rounds, and in my opinion, rounds 2, 8, and 12 were swing rounds. So if I give those 3 swing rounds to Lopez, then I would have had it at best a draw. I have a hard time scoring this fight for Lopez. I'm not saying it's impossible. I talked to a lot of people. One person did have the fight for Lopez, and we'll find out later who that person is. But I'm not going to reveal it right now because I'm going to save it for later. But one person had the fight for Lopez that I talked to. Everyone else had it for Kambosos. Most people had it like 8 rounds to 4-ish. I had it 9 rounds to 3. Whatever. This was not Teo's best night. And again, we're not going to kick him when he's down. I do believe that he was having problems making 135. But he had this mentality that he already made it. He had this mentality that he had the leverage, that he was the man, right? He had that mentality. So again, once you have that sense of, I don't want to use the word entitlement, but once you have that sense like, okay, I've made it already, then you start losing your hunger, right? And maybe this is a wake-up call. I don't know. And his dad even said it, we're gonna stop calling people out now. Blaming the fact that it was on they lost because it was on DAZN. Listen, you were in New York. That's your home. That's your home state, right? This guy came over from Australia, George Kambosos, right? He came over from Australia. He was in your backyard, and he got a split decision. And the crowd, I had it 116 and 110 for Kambosos too, Reese Mack. And the crowd basically booed you when you said you thought you won the fight 10 rounds to 2. And then you have the senior again. Oh, they were booing the decision. They thought we won. No, they were booing when you said you thought you won. So once again, this delusion, it never ends. And you may have to say and question whether Teofimo should stay with his dad, because his dad is his own worst enemy. That he's not very well liked over at Top Rank. Bob Arum, after the Lomachenko fight, gave his dad the finger because his dad was screaming and yelling. And I just think all this chaos that his dad creates is not beneficial to the son. It's just not. And Eric and I were talking about Teofimo Lopez, and we were asking ourselves, and we were talking about potential matchups. And after that Lomachenko fight, clearly Teofimo Lopez deserved to call himself the best lightweight in the world. And we were talking about him versus Devin Haney and Tank Davis and other fights at 135. And my only concern was the mental psyche of this kid, because he seems to be an emotional guy, seems to not be able to control his emotions. And throughout the pandemic, he was even saying that he was thinking about committing suicide, this and that. So you could have all the top talent in the world, but your mentality and your character can undermine that talent. And we hear it time and time again that so many guys have not lived up to their potential because of the mentality, their work ethic, and whatever, right? So this could be a problem in the future for Teofimo Lopez. Him and his dad, they have this lack of self-awareness, right? They have this lack of self-awareness. They were already putting themselves at Canelo status after that Lomachenko fight. They were talking like they had all the leverage, talking like already we've made it. My son's the best. He's going to be better than Mayweather. Just making all these outlandish claims, calling all these other fighters trash. To me, he was starting to become unlikable. It really was. I was starting to really listen to him talk, reading his tweets, listening to his dad in interviews, and it was just cringeworthy. Now, did that have an effect on the fight? In my opinion, yes, it did. Yes, it did. I didn't think that there was a chance Anel Kambosos was going to win this fight. But what I did say to myself, moving forward, because of all this chaos from his dad and all this craziness and all these deluded statements and this lack of self-awareness, I said to myself, can this kid really live up to his full potential because of all this craziness going on around him and because of these issues psychologically with him? Again, if you're on the pandemic, you're constantly tweeting out these inspirational tweets. It was almost as if he was crying out for help. Like he was going through something during the pandemic. And again, we're not gonna downplay mental illness or anything like that, but one has to suspect that maybe he suffers from some type of depression or some type of anxiety or something. None of us are perfect. We all have our demons. I get that, but he could have some issues. And if he doesn't get these issues taken care of, it can affect him moving forward, not only in boxing, but in his life. I was watching one of the promotional shows leading up to the buildup, and I guess he's split with his wife now. He's not with his wife anymore. So there's a lot of things going on behind the scenes with Teofimo Lopez. And until he corrects those things, he's going to have issues moving forward in his boxing career. And then they're sitting there, and then Teofimo Lopez Sr., another crazy thing that he said was, oh, this wasn't a setback. We're just going to go up to 140. We could still fight. We can still get the Josh Taylor fight. Are you fucking kidding me? You think Josh Taylor's going to fight Teofimo Lopez coming off of a loss to a guy who was like a 20-1 underdog almost? No, he wasn't a 20-1 underdog. I think he was like a 10, 12-1 underdog. But regardless, he was a huge underdog, George Kambosos, right? And even after the fight, sitting there saying, we won this fight 10 rounds to 2, 11 rounds to 1. Come on, man. And you're sitting there round after round telling your son that he's winning the rounds when it's just not the case. It's just not the case. You could sit there and say, oh, well, fighters always think they're winning. They're in the fight. They can't judge whether or not, a round is close or not. But, even in the Brandon Figueroa Steve Fulton fight last night, even at the end of that fight, Figueroa, I thought was showing a little bit of poor sportsmanship. The fight was a close fight. I thought Steve Fulton edged it out, but whatever. It was a close fight. Even Steve Fulton at the end of that fight said, it was a close fight. It was a great fight. He acknowledged it was a close fight. He thought he edged it, whatever. So fighters know. Fighters know. If you're going to sit there and think that you were winning that fight handily and you thought you won 10 of those 12 rounds. Come on. I mean, that's just a lack of self-awareness. Even if you had Lopez winning that fight, right? Even if you had Lopez winning that fight, there's absolutely no way you had him winning by a score of 10 rounds to 2. There's just no way you had it that way, right? And let's take a look at the scorecards. I'll tell you my scorecard. And like I said, in my opinion, rounds 2, 8, and 12 were swing rounds, right? I gave the first round to Kambosos 10 to 8. Ironically enough, 2 of the judges only scored that round 10 rounds to 9. They thought that Teofimo Lopez was winning that round so dominantly that the knockdown only gave George Kambosos a 1-point edge in that round. I disagree. I thought Teofimo Lopez was winning the round, but it wasn't like Kambosos was getting battered around or hurt or staggered, buckled. I thought Teo was winning the round, but I thought that the knockdown clearly made it a 10-8 round, in my opinion. The judges were well within their rights to score at 10-9 if they wanted to. I just disagreed with it, right? But I scored that round 10-8. I thought Kambosos won round 2 as well. 2 of the judges gave round 2 to Kambosos. 1 judge gave it to Teofimo Lopez. I'm not going to go down the whole card, but what I will say is the judges did agree. They did agree on 7 of the 12 rounds. And of those rounds they agreed on, 5 rounds they agreed that George Kambosos won. They agreed on 5 of the rounds. They agreed on rounds 1, 4, 5, 6, and 11. They all the judges had Kambosos winning those rounds. The only rounds that they agreed on that Teofimo Lopez won was round 9 and 10, right? I kind of thought round 3 was a clear Teofimo Lopez round, but I think one judge did give the round 3 to Teofimo Lopez. So if you have Kambosos clearly winning 5 rounds and you have Teofimo Lopez only winning 2, right? At best, you have five rounds in between, right? So say you give Lopez 5 rounds. Let me just grab this super chat real quick. Mike Toss says, Teo got recognition when he won against Loma, which was well-deserved, but they wanted more mega fights and big dollars, and they kept eating their mind too often. Yeah, they kept looking ahead. So if they only agreed on 2 rounds that Lopez won, right? So there's 5 swing rounds. Say they give him 5 of those swing rounds, right? Say they give him 5 of those swing rounds. So they have him winning 7 rounds. I mean, you'd have to give him every benefit of the doubt. It was not impossible to score this fight for Teofimo Lopez. I just thought it was unlikely, right? But the fact that you would think that Teofimo Lopez would have to get the 5 swing rounds, right? So he would be 7-5. I mean, it's not impossible to have him edging this fight out. But ironically enough, the only judge that gave him the fight was Don Trella. He scored at 114 to 113. He's also the same judge that scored round 7 for Canelo Alvarez against Gennady Golovkin, which was a questionable round because most people argue that was Golovkin's best round of the fight. How could you give that to Canelo Alvarez? That was kind of crazy, right? Not many people agreed with that. There was another fight that he scored, Tug Nyambar versus Corbius Breedy. Fight that Tug clearly won. He had it 115 to 111. That was back in 2020. That was another questionable scorecard as well. And there's some other scorecards that were questionable, but I didn't include those fights because those fights, there was 3, he wasn't the only judge in those fights that had questionable scorecards. But he's had some questionable scorecards in the past. If he scored round 1 10-8, then he would have had it a draw. So it's kind of crazy. It's kind of ironic that he was the only guy that scored the fight. He scored the fight for Teofimo Lopez. So one judge gave George Kambosos 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 rounds. So he added 8 rounds. He added 8 rounds to 4. Right. Another judge had it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 2 judges had it 8 rounds to 4. And the reason why their scores were different was because Frank Lombardi, Frank Lombardi was the only judge that scored the first round 10-8. So 2 judges had this fight 8 rounds to 4, which I think is probably 8 rounds to 4 is probably the most reasonable scorecard in my opinion. My opinion, could you have given Lopez 7 rounds in this fight? I don't know. It's a stretch. It's not impossible. It's not impossible to score this fight 7 rounds to 5 for Lopez. If you scored it 7-5 for Lopez, you would have had it 114 or 112 for Lopez. If you scored it 6-6, it would have been a draw. But it wouldn't have been a draw if you scored The first round, only 10-9. So Don Trella had it even in rounds. The other two judges had it 8-4 in rounds. So yeah, we're not going to sit here and rip scorecards apart because I've been on the other end of scorecards myself. I've scored certain fights a certain a lot different than other people. So yeah, I mean, these scorecards are kind of all over the place, but one thing that stands out is the judges agreed on 7 rounds, but 5 of those 7 rounds they gave to Kambosos. So the only 2 rounds, like I said, I don't want to keep repeating myself, but the only 2 rounds the judges agreed that Lopez won were rounds 9 and 10. And in my opinion, those were the only clear rounds that Lopez won, 9 and 10. Could you give him 12? Yeah. Could you give him 8? Yeah, I didn't give him 8. Could you give him 2? Yeah, you can give him 2. One round that I disagree with here, though, is one judge gave Lopez round 3. I thought Kambosos clearly won round 3, but that didn't really affect the scoring on that card. Yeah, so if you ask most people who won this fight, I think most people tell you they had it about 8 rounds to 4 for George Kambosos. But the problem moving forward, in my opinion, is the lack of self-awareness and the continued delusion. Listening to the interviews after the fight, particularly from Teofimo Sr., thinking that they won 10 of the 12 rounds, thinking that this loss doesn't matter, this doesn't hurt us, this doesn't set us back at all. Once again, when you don't think there's an issue and you ignore a problem, generally in life, when you ignore a problem or you don't correct a mistake, what usually happens is that mistake becomes worse, right? What do they tell you in life? If you have a health injury, you just ignore that health injury. It gets to a point where you catch it too late, you ignored it for years, and it just becomes progressively worse. And then at that particular time, it's harder to correct. So if they continue on the way they've been going this last year, right? And they don't do some soul searching, right? And they don't tone it down a little bit, right? And they don't start focusing and becoming more humble, then I don't see how Teofimo Lopez can get better. I can see him get progressively worse, right? So that's just my opinion. I think Teofimo Lopez is going to have some issues moving forward. I think he needs to get rid of his dad, right? I think he needs to probably revamp his whole team, right? Because I think his manager, I forget his manager's name, but he had a level of delusion too. They acted like they already made it. They that they just had this mentality like we're already a superstar. And then another crazy thing that Teofimo Lopez Sr. said was, "Yeah, we'll go back to Top Rank, and our next 2 fights will be on pay-per-view." Again, this deluded sense of self-worth. And again, you should always be confident in yourself, right? Should always be confident in yourself. But having this level of delusion is just crazy to me. It makes no sense. I just don't get it. I don't understand this level of delusion. There's no way they're going to go back to Top Rank, right? And be on pay-per-view for the next 2 fights. There's no way that he's fighting Josh Taylor in his next fight, like Teofimo Lopez Sr. said. There's no way, even if you think Teofimo won this fight, there's no way he won 10 of these 12 rounds. There's no way. And then he even said, "Oh, we won 11," right? There's just no way. And then he went back and he talked about the Lomachenko fight, right? And said that, oh, we won that fight 11 rounds to 1. I mean, come on. Come on. I mean, I thought they clearly won the fight, but they didn't win that fight 11 rounds to 1. So they gotta, you know, get a better sense of reality. They just got to change their whole outlook and mentality here, you know? And I have to be honest. I just found myself not liking them anymore. Like, I don't hate anybody, but they were starting to become cringy to me. They were becoming irritating listening to both of them talk, right? And I started questioning, and I had no doubt in my mind. I thought for sure he was going to win last night, Teofimo Lopez. There's no way about me even guessing, right? I had no thought in my mind at all that George, and I say this with all due respect, I had no inkling at all that I thought George Kambosos was going to win last night. But what I started questioning was, can Lopez beat Devin Haney? Can he beat Tank Davis? Can he beat Lomachenko in a rematch? I started questioning those things where before I wasn't. But again, I started seeing that pattern. I started seeing that pattern of just a level of lack of self-awareness, the psychological issues, the little mental chinks in the armor is what I saw. I saw some issues there. I saw him unraveling a little bit during the pandemic. All these inspirational tweets, like when you hear these people cry out and saying, oh, life is good. Like, you have to keep telling me every day that life is good. It's almost like you're trying to convince me life is good. Maybe life isn't so good. Maybe life isn't so good. If you have to continue to tell me something, you have to continue to constantly portray and put out these type of vibes. If someone's happy, they don't have to continuously telling you they're happy, right? This guy was up and down, up and down, up and down, and who knows how he's feeling. He was showing his house, and he showed his son's bedroom, but his son wasn't there. His son was with his mom. And he's saying, yeah, my son's not with me right now. Or he's with his mom, whatever. We're not together anymore. And he's sitting there talking about, yeah, I remember when I used to rub her belly, this and that. Again, this guy's got some stuff going on, man, behind the scenes. There's no question about it, in my opinion. I think he's got some stuff going on behind the scenes. You don't sit there and say that you're suicidal on Twitter. You don't sit there every day. Like, Corey Lee is a very happy person. He don't every time I talk to Corey Lee, he don't tell me, Beeb, life is good. I'm doing great, Beeb. Beeb, I'm so happy right now. Because all I gotta do is look at the smile on his fucking face. It tells the story. He don't gotta tell me shit. I already know. Right? Am I right? Am I right in what I'm saying here? There's some shit going on behind the scenes psychologically with this dude that could possibly undermine his boxing career. Am I right here or no?
Well, I'm gonna tell you straight up, man. Salute to everybody out there, man. Corey Lee Boxing in the house. I interviewed Teofimo Lopez, you guys, after his Nakatani fight. Okay, he had a lot of mental stuff going on in his head. If you look closely at the interview, I was one of the only interviewers and one of the only reporters to ask him about the mental side of it, and about what was going on outside of the ring. I feel like that affected him immensely. At that time, he wasn't talking to his mother because of his father and stuff like that, and I just feel like all of that combined played a big factor on why he didn't look good in that Nakatani fight. The mental part is about 80% of it, you guys. Kambosos had he just had that rhythm, man, and he just had like I said, man, I really truly believe that those rounds, those 100+ rounds that he sparred with Manny Pacquiao, propelled him for this moment. And I feel like this moment was not too big for Kambosos. He always looked like he was in the fight. And you know, kudos to him. I'm not here to take any shine away from Kambosos. I feel like him and Australia deserve this win. I feel like Australia as a country, I feel like they did awesome, man. And I feel like he represented his country in 100% class, man. He told you know, he told Lopez, I will fight you again. And I did not like what I heard with what Lopez said after the fight. I did not like what I heard. He did not specifically say that he would fight Kambosos in a rematch. He said, I have to go home and think about it. And he said, I have to go home with my family. I just had a newborn son. He did not answer that question. He did not answer that question. Let
me just read this super chat real quick, and I'll let you get right back to it. I apologize for interrupting you. The Axum says, I agree, B, but let's not take anything away from Kambosos, who also went through a lot outside the ring, and look how he was able to use it to win. Exactly. And that goes back to what I'm saying. Everybody has, dude, I have problems too, man. And I fight my demons every day, man. And it's not about me, but we all have our fucking problems, right? I fight my demons every day. This is part of my therapy, being on here, working out's part of my therapy. There's a lot of shit I do, you know, but I know it's me. It's not everybody else. It's me, right? And we're not going to take anything away from Kambosos. And I know it could be perceived that we are, but I'm going to say something. Just want to comment on one of your points. He was having issues with his mom, and he stopped talking to his mom because of the girl. That's what he said. Now he's not with the girl anymore. So now I got to say,
he's not.
He go back and watch the buildup. He's showing his house.
Oh my God!
He was showing his house off. He was showing his house off, and he showed it. I felt hurt. I felt hurt.
I did not know that.
I felt hurt when he said this. He goes like this. He goes, yeah, he was showing everyone his house. It was almost like they were doing the MTV Cribs, him and his dad, right? And they were showing his house, and he showed his son's bedroom, and he goes, yeah, my son's not here right now. He's with his mom's. He's with his mom's, and we ain't together anymore. And I sat there and said, right then and there, I said to myself, oh shit. Now you have to ask yourself,
oh my,
did he break up with her because his family? Because of his family, or or they really going through problems?
It's something in that, B, because I'm telling you, when I interviewed him, I asked him, I said, man, you didn't look like yourself tonight. What was wrong with you? Like, you know, I said, this is what I said specifically. I said, did what you dealt with outside of this, being with your family, specifically with your family, and he knew I was talking about his mother and stuff. He literally almost broke down in the interview. If you go to Coily Boxing, you can see my interview. He almost broke down in tears when I asked him that, Beebs. And I'm being honest with you.
He broke down in tears after the fight, I thought, too, because he was talking about how he's having problems with his dad and shit like that, and he's not talking to his mom. He's like, this dude's got some issues, bro. You know? I know people are yelling at me in the chat, stop making excuses. Listen, it's not an excuse. It's not an excuse. Everybody has problems. Kambosos has problems too, I'm sure. I'm sure his life's not perfect, but once you get into that ring, you can't let them problems affect you. And that's my interpretation of this whole situation is, I think when you looked at him last night, he was so mentally wound up and tight, and just he was like loading up with everything and jumping in and everything.
Beef, not to cut you off, but he hasn't fought for a while. He hasn't fought for a while too.
And neither did Kambosos. But let me just make this.
I feel like Teofimo needs those fights, man. He's a fighter that needs to be active. Straight up. And he blamed the weight too. He talked about his weight. That 135, he said that, you know, Ben was trying to move up too. He said it specifically 2 years ago. He said that.
Yeah. Yeah. But you could tell that psychologically he was just emotionally wound up for that fight. He was so mad at Kambosos, right? that he just couldn't control his adrenaline. Like, you know, when you get so mad at somebody, you get so angry. If you get in a fight, get in an argument with a girl or something, and you screaming back and forth at this girl, and then after the argument, like, you're so fucking tired because you use so much energy fighting with this chick. He had so much, I think he used up so much mental energy in the build up to this fight. And you looked at George Kambosos. He was kind of relaxed, laughing. He was talking his shit too, but he was laughing. Tia was like upset. He was like rattled and shit. He was pissed off to the point where
he was, wasn't he? Wasn't
yeah.
he?
Now
the
again,
more I think about it now in the interviews and shit,
yeah,
he was
again,
more serious.
Again,
he was more like everything that Kambosos said got to him.
He was in his head. He was in his head.
Yeah, he was, B. That's a good point.
He was fucking in his head. He was getting mad. And again, going into this fight, I didn't think none of that shit was gonna matter.
But let me just tell you this.
Let me just tell you this
one thing, B. Just one thing.
Yeah.
Keep this in mind. You're fighting a fight of your life, okay? And his son is being born. And I mean, him and his family, they're just in disarray right now. I mean, you know, this is the lady that he left his family for. Remember that now. He left his mom and stuff like that for this woman and moved to Arkansas or whatever, you know, because he didn't want to be around his family. Almost him and his dad came to odds on this, you know, I'm being honest. Yeah. So it's a big situation, man. I think a lot of people should look more into it.
Yeah. But again, my whole thing is this. It sounds like I'm making excuses for him, but I'm really not, because even though all these things are going on in the background, if you're going to fight at this level, you got to put that shit behind you. And he couldn't do it. He couldn't do it. He showed evidence of it affecting him, right? In the Nakatani fight. As soon as he was having problems with his family because of the girl, but once again, that girl.
He didn't have that killer instinct, Beeps. He didn't have that killer instinct.
But think about this.
If he was not arguing with his family and stuff like that, I'm not making excuses. But when he hurt Kambosos, the old Teofimo would have finished him. Let's be honest.
But let's think about this. Let's think about this. When he was getting ready to fight Lomachenko, everything was good. He was back talking to his moms. His dad was talking. His moms was talking to the girl, the wife. I keep calling her.
I didn't know that.
I want to show her respect, the wife. So now the wife isn't there anymore. So now your life has changed. Your baby's not with you. Your woman, your mother and your wife's not your mother and your child's not with you anymore. Your life's not stable. Now, once again, Beeb, you should be making it. No, I'm not. I'm just giving you my opinion on his mental preparation for this fight. Once again, even with all this going on in the background, I still didn't think it was going to matter because I thought the skill gap was so great. I still didn't think Kambosos was going to win.
But you seen glimpses of the old Teofimo. You seen glimpses like, okay, this is the Teofimo we wanted to see, you know, in the 10th round, in the 9th round and stuff like that. This is the Teo we came to see. This is the Teo we know. Not, you know, 5, 6, and 7. I mean, that was not the Teo we know, you know. And look at his face, Beebs. I mean, I feel like his face in the 11th round, to me, was a clear indication of this fight just not being in his hands at all. And for him to look that shocked at the scorecards, it was not that. It was. I feel like he should not be shocked. I'm just being honest, man.
I gotta make this point to Coach real quick. Man, I'm hearing a bunch of excuses now. I don't want to hear that shit now. George Kambosos was having family issues as well. You're making excuses while saying you're not making excuses. Once again, here's my interpretation of the situation. And I'll say it again. Everybody goes through shit in their lives, and fighters are no different. I agree with what Coach just said. But here's the thing. What I'm trying to tell you is George Kambosos did not allow his personal problems to affect him, while Teofimo Lopez did. You're not going to tell me, I mean, you can tell me this, but then I'll disagree with you. You're not going to tell me George Kambosos is a more talented fighter than Teofimo Lopez. But again, boxing is not all about talent. It's about mental toughness too.
Yes.
Teofimo Lopez showed a mental chink in the armor going into this fight.
Yes,
he was too emotionally wound up, and Kambosos got in his head. We know in boxing that it's not always the more skilled guy that wins. Sometimes it's the mentally tougher guy that wins. And I'm going to have to say this, and it's going to sound ridiculous. I still think Teofimo Lopez on paper is a more skilled fighter than George Kambosos, but George Kambosos is a mentally tougher, probably a more well-conditioned athlete than George Kambosos. Excuse me, than Teofimo Lopez. So, you know, I'll take the criticism. Coach, we can respectfully disagree on this, but it's not an excuse. It's a reason, in my opinion.
It's not an excuse because I feel like Lopez can win the rematch. So I feel like it's not an excuse. I feel like he can still win this fight.
Yeah. And I take the criticism. And let me just read this super chat and I'll let you go real quick, Maestro. How many right hands, jabs, hooks, and off the jabs that Kambosos landed? Where was Tio's defense? Tio was very reckless, which was why he got dropped. Again, George Kambosos deserves all the credit in the world. He was the better man. But what I'm trying to tell you is I think Teofimo Lopez's lack of self-awareness, his dad, and this psychological issue moving forward, I think is gonna plague his career if he doesn't correct it. I'm just being honest.
So Joe, I was at the fight last night, as you know, and it was interesting because when I got home, my wife actually suggested that I rewatch the fight to kind of listen to the advice or lack thereof that Teo was getting in the corner from his dad.
Yes.
I think his dad has now pretty much been exposed as a hype man, and I'll just repeat what my wife told me because I agreed with it 100%. Teo's gotten this far based on his natural ability.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's gotten this far based on his natural ability. He is obviously a supreme athlete, an exceptional athlete, but let's not take away from Kambosos' win. Sitting where I was, Joe, he mastered distance. He mastered timing. His in and out movement was ridiculous. He'd go in, he'd punch him, pop, 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 and then step out of range. He'd jump in, pop, pop, step out of range. He was landing the jab and then the hook off the jab like at will all night long, and then was mixing in an uppercut. He'd whip shots to the body. I mean, other than the round where he got reckless and got dropped, I mean, he was giving dude a boxing lesson. Yeah. And obviously the beginning where it kind of looked rough for him in there.
Well, can I ask you? Let me grab this super chat real quick, and then I want to ask you a quick question. I apologize for interrupting you.
No, go for it.
The Axiom says Kambosos. Awesome. Can I just let me ask you this question? Am I off in saying that maybe they weren't mentally prepared for this fight?
No, they weren't mentally prepared. But I put it. Look,
that's all I'm saying. I'm not trying to take anything away from Kambosos.
No, we're not. They were clearly not mentally prepared. But at the same time, he was telegraphing his right hand. Okay, Kambosos saw it and he needed to land his feet, to set his feet to land that right hand. You could tell that Kambosos knew what he was doing in there. And let's give this guy credit. There's a reason why he was a chief sparring partner for Manny Pacquiao for many years as a very young fighter. The dude can box. And look, I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't pick him going into this fight. I didn't. In fact, I picked Teo by knockout.
Me too.
I was telling my partner, my co-host Kenny T, that the dude is an enigma because he's undefeated. He hasn't been dropped. He doesn't know how to lose. And that's why I always like to see undefeated versus undefeated fighters, because somebody's O's got to go and some questions got to be answered. And you know what? He answered the questions. Okay.
But let's not all act like Kambosos this pound for pound, top guy, because he's not. He's got chinks.
Here's the thing. People can say, oh, well, Kambosos isn't the top pound for pound kind of guy. But if you go in there and dominate a pound for pound kind of guy, what does that make you?
Well, here's the
He went
thing.
in there and he dominated a pound for pound kind of guy. He
Let
did
me say,
that.
let me say this.
I'm not gonna say he dominated.
Let me just say,
You cannot say he
I'll
dominated.
tell
He
you,
got dropped.
did you see his face? Did you see his face after the fight? There was no headbutts in that fight.
Let me jump
There
in
was
real
no
quick.
elbows in that fight, bro.
He got
Look
hurt
at
though,
his face
man.
after the fight.
Tio
Let me
could
jump in.
The fight could be stopped right now.
He
Let me jump in.
dominated that fight.
Let me
He
jump in real
dominated
quick.
that
Let
fight.
me jump
Look
in
at
real
his
quick.
face after the fight.
Let me jump in real quick. Most people I talked to scored this fight 8 rounds to 4 for Kambosos. I scored it 9 rounds to 3 for Kambosos. I thought Kambosos.
So did I.
This fight.
I was, bro. His face. I was there close. His face was getting fucked up round after round by jabs and hooks and then uppercuts. He was hurting him to the body as well, and the dejection on his face. The dejection on his face between rounds shows you that he was dominated. Don't let his dad saying, "Oh, great round," or beautiful. Like, no.
My problem with the whole thing was round after round, his dad was telling him he won the round. That hurt him, right? That's number one. Number two, I want to address a question. Is Teofimo, George Kambosos undisputed right now? Is George Kambosos the man at lightweight?
He's not undisputed.
In my opinion, I'm going to say he's undisputed, and I'll tell you why. He could be disputed, but I'm not. I'm personally not disputing him, and I did not dispute.
And I understand it.
I did not dispute Teofimo Lopez is undisputed, and I'll tell you why. Because WBC makes the rules up as they go along, but listening to Mauricio Suleiman in a recent interview, he basically described the franchise designation as a super champion, sort of like how WBA has a super champion and regular champion.
He did, but he didn't at first.
He didn't at first.
He did it. Then he switched it. Then he switched it up. Because first it was a trophy.
Let me just get this off, and I'll let you jump right back in.
Go for it.
He gave Teofimo Lopez 2 green belts, right? And he said, so if the chairman of the sanctioning body is saying that this guy is undisputed, so basically the way, in my opinion, and again, this is just my opinion, I'm not going to change anyone's mind. People can totally disagree with me. I've been going back and forth with this. And in my opinion, right? In my opinion, I think Teofimo was undisputed. Now George Kambosos is undisputed because the way it was explained by Mauricio Suleiman, the franchise title originally was going to be a designation, but then he kind of described it as being a WBC super champion. So Devin Haney is the regular champion to me, and Teofimo Lopez was the super champion.
Can I make a point? Can I make a point, B?
Sure.
All right. So, couple things, because I did want to jump in on the whole distractions and personal problems going into the fight. Okay. Before we even get into the undisputed thing,
then we'll let these other guys jump in after.
I'm not denying that the kid had personal problems going into the fight, right? But let's not act like Kambosos had an easy route to this. This fight has been canceled. Hold up. I'm just gonna make my points.
My fault.
Even more, most recently, the passing of his father, of his grandfather, who you could see got him super emotional in the ring there, and his father got emotional over that, not being able to be there, not being able to mourn it. And you know why? Like, he lives in Australia. How many times has he had to disrupt his life, go through quarantine mandates, and leave a country that's a 24-hour plus flight away from here, come to the United States, go back for cancellation, quarantine, come back over here. I couldn't imagine a fighter's life being more disrupted than Kambosos going into this fight because of how many times it was canceled and because of the distance he's had to travel. That's why the last time he was like, with Triller, he was like, yo, put this shit in escrow because I'm not going to keep doing this. You know, I'm not going to keep flying a day and a half or whatever around the world only to do a new training camp and then find out that the fight is canceled and have to go back and do a 2-week quarantine when I get back home. So he had a long route to this as well. But yes, his emotions got into play, Joe, going into the fight. And you know what was the most ridiculous one? If you listen to the build up before the fight, they kept saying that Kambosos insulted his mom.
Bullshit.
Kambosos was like, I don't know what this dude is talking about. People keep filling his head with nonsense. I've never said anything about his mom or about his family. I looked it up. There was no video. There's no interview. There's no like credible report about any of this. It was all Teofimo's team getting Teofimo all emotional and upset about something that the man never even said. So he had a lot of stuff amping him up going into this fight that was totally unnecessary. And I'll leave it at that, Joe, because I know some people want to jump in.
I'm going to say, before I go to Jack, and then I'm going to go to Ruga after, this is my interpretation of what I saw last night. Kambosos was better prepared mentally, and he was mentally smarter and mentally stronger. Do I think he's a more talented, gifted fighter than Teofimo Lopez? No, I do not. But it doesn't matter. All you have to do is win on the night. And if you are smarter and mentally stronger on that night, and if you are better conditioned on that night, then you are the winner, and you won and the other guy lost, regardless of why he lost. I'm not saying that this was not a great win. I'm not trying to take anything away from Kambosos. All I'm telling you is I think he won this fight with his brain. Okay? Mm-hmm. He won this fight with his brain and his heart and his conditioning.
Conditioning, right? For sure.
And for that, he deserves full credit. And I don't give a fuck what happens in the next fight or whatever. Today, on November 28th, 2021, George Kambosos is my undisputed lightweight champion. He deserves the right to call himself the best lightweight in the world on November 28th, 2021, until someone proves me and him different.
Well, you know what, Joe? I was there yesterday. He's flying. He's not going to Australia. He's flying to Vegas because he's showing up to the Haney fight to confront the winner after the fight. That's the fight that he wants. He wants the winner, Haney Diaz.
And that's what I was saying. That's what I was saying about the Lopez rematch.
Yeah.
I really
let me let these guys jump in. They've been holding.
I feel like the Lopez rematch is not gonna happen.
I'm sorry, Corey. Let me let Jack go ahead, man. What you got for us?
Hey, what's going on? Thank you for letting me on your platform. I just want to say there's a reason that you guys can lie and say Teofimo Lopez lost against Kambosos, right? Because he beat Loma. Just like you guys hate China and make up a lie and call it the China virus because they're the wealthiest in the USA, leading academics, right? Just like you guys lie about founding a country. And it's not a surprise that the professional victim right here is teaming up with the Edomite and rooting against the indigenous person. It's not. It really isn't a surprise. This is nothing new. Teofimo dropped him, twice. The flash knockdown when he got dropped by Kambosos, he got up and dropped him again. But what did the professional victim do? Try to deceive us. Oh, no, it wasn't a knockdown. He won most of the rounds, dropped him again. But you're going to sit here and tell me he lost against, I forgot he beat Loma. You superior complex Edomites.
I don't understand what this dude is talking about.
You superior complex Edomites.
Hey, listen, we're going to let you burn. We're going to let you burn.
Right?
We're going to let you burn.
I'm making it up. Y'all didn't make up a fake virus and blame it on China. You're the wealthiest on the planet, and y'all didn't make up a virus.
Hey, B, what you got going on here, dude? Come on,
I don't know, man.
I'm making it up. Y'all didn't make up a fake virus and call it the China virus because China.
Who's y'all? I represent the U.S. government. Get the hell out of here.
Edomite trying to talk over me. Look at the third eye blind Edomite Corey Lee. The third eye blind intuitionist Edomite trying to talk over me to hide the people.
Beans, what's
y'all
going on?
Let him go. This is let him go.
Let him go. You got to show.
Let him go.
Show your face. Show your face. Show your face.
Let him go.
Show your face.
Look at that.
Show your face.
These Edomites worship black people. These Edomites worship black people and they work together and hate on everybody else. I'm making it up. Y'all didn't make up a fake virus and blame it on China. Y'all lie for a living. I forgot. It's the Fighter Spirit 47. Look at my channel. I exposed.
What about the fight, bro? What about the fight?
What about the fight? Draw, dog. At most, it was a draw, but he beat Loma, and you superior complex Edomites can't accept the truth, just like you hate on Chinese people.
Oh, you said that like 5 times.
All right. What else you got?
So what?
What else you got?
So what?
What else you
we
got?
understand that. We feel
it's the
you.
land
what else you got?
At the same time, do you have anything
take
to
this
say
jab
about
or you're going to get fired. It's the land of the free, but take this jab or you're going to get fired. Lying ass Edomites. Y'all are some lying ass.
All right, man. What else you got?
We
what
know
else you
the
got?
truth, motherfucker. Look at my channel,
All
The
right.
Fighter Spirit
Right,
47.
Now we're gonna have
I
to- we got-
expose you,
Bruh, this is
motherfuckers.
Bees,
I'm
these
the
are your
truth.
people, man. These are your people, Bees.
We gotta get him out.
No,
We gotta get him
Bees.
out of here. We gotta get him
Those
out
were
of
your
here.
What is he
people.
talking
You had
about?
them.
Ruga, you're next, bro. I hope you got a better take than the other guy.
Goodness.
Go ahead,
I
Ruga.
don't know what he was talking about, but
I had to let him go. He was going. I try to give
Yo, my
people
boy
their
Ruga
chance,
got
but
the
he's going.
background, man. That's crazy.
Hey, did Lomachenko had a super belt when Tio beat him?
This is what we're gonna say, Ruga. Let me explain this. Let me explain this, and this is my opinion. You know how the WBC is constantly evolving with their logic, right, and their rules.
Yeah, but I know one thing that always stood was you get the WBC super belt. Any of the
There
organizations.
is no WBC super belt. Let me just explain this before I'll let you jump right back in.
Okay.
Originally, the franchise was a designation, but then the way Mauricio explained it recently, he made it a title, right? Corey just jumped off, but okay, maybe his internet. He made it a title. Yeah. He basically paired it, and said it was equivalent to the WBA Super Champion, right?
Okay. Because the WBA, the super belt is you only get that if you hold another belt.
Not necessarily. You can fight for the super title and there's a regular champion. So the way he explained it was Teofimo Lopez was like the WBC's super champion and Devin Haney was the regular champion. Because then he made, at first the franchise title was not transferable, but then he made it transferable. So it became more than a designation. It became more than a designation. It became a title.
See, that's what
Joe, what you got to mention though.
I can't jump on that because you can't just.
No, you don't. Again, you reserve the right to disagree.
Hold up, Joe. That's all true. That's all true. But we also got to mention though that what you said happened after Devin Haney accepted the quote unquote world title.
Yes, you're right.
Because at the beginning, he said it was essentially a trophy, a participation award that you couldn't transfer from fight to fight. That was the first thing.
Well,
and don't forget that Canelo was getting clowned for it. Don't forget that.
It was.
Okay. Canelo was getting clowned for even thinking of accepting a franchise title. By the way, it's got the most jacked up.
I'm giving you my opinion of the situation based off of what I've heard. If Mauricio Suleiman is saying he was being interviewed and the guy said, and the interviewer said to him, so this franchise designation is sort of like the WBA's super champion. And he goes, yes, you can say that. So he changed it. He did change.
This is what happened. Listen, I have it.
Let me shut off this super chat real quick. Let me shut off this super chat real quick.
This is what happened.
Hold up, Corey. Bayo Mateo says Jack worships Malachi Z York. LOL. I don't know what that means.
I don't know what that is either. That was some weird ass shit.
All right. Go ahead, Corey, and then we're gonna let Billy jump in.
It says the WBC. This is on worldboxingnews.net. I was talking about this on my show the other day. It says on worldboxingnews.net. I already had it pulled up because I was looking at it the other day about the whole franchise situation. It says, furthermore, the WBC mandatory situation then elaborated on. So it says pretty much Vasyl Lomachenko signed the documents to pretty much to elevate him to the franchise champion and to pretty much not fight Devin Haney, because Suleiman approached Vasyl Lomachenko about the Devin Haney fight. And Devin Haney had that, the Teofimo Lopez fight pretty much already wrapped up. And he was like, well, Suleiman was like, therefore we can make a franchise because at that time, Canelo had just had his franchise belt. So the timing was just right there for them to use that again. Mind you, I haven't seen that belt used only in those two instances with the WBC. Was the franchise belt used was with Canelo and one was with Teofimo Lopez. So I feel Beebs on what he's saying that he feels like Teofimo Lopez is the undisputed champion of the world. Some would say that, but Lomachenko did have that paper in front of him stating that, he needs to fight his mandatory, and he needs to fight his mandatory before the Lopez fight, if I'm not mistaken. So it was one of those situations. Lomachenko fought Lopez, I'm pretty sure, Bob Arum, offered him, more money or something like that. And because Devin Haney was not with Top Rank at that time, he was still with DAZN. I think he had just signed, a little promotional deal with DAZN. So I feel like that has something to do with it too. What networks these fighters are with, it has a lot to do with it, you guys.
I think Bob Arum, from what I heard, I can't say this is true, but from what I heard, I think Bob Arum was the guy who tried to persuade Mauricio Suleiman to make this franchise title transferable, because that's what Teofimo Lopez wanted. And by making that title transferable, you change it from a designation to basically a title, because you presented the guy with a belt.
So let me ask you this.
It used to be a diamond belt. It was essentially a diamond belt. They made it for no reason.
Let me just finish this, Corey.
I just want to ask you about the belt. Is this belt because I want to better understand it. Is this belt transferable?
Yes. Yes.
It is, but it wasn't at the beginning.
It wasn't at the beginning. He changed it. And from what I'm hearing, I think Bob Arum.
When did he change it, Beebs?
For the Lopez Vasily Lomachenko fight. So Teofimo Lopez has 2 WBC belts. Why does he have 2 WBC belts?
I don't know. Exactly. I've never understood that. And he got a second WBO belt before the fight on Saturday too.
Now the WBO, the WBO, what people don't realize is they have a super champion too, but they have a certain criteria for that. There's a certain criteria for that. And part of the criteria is if they feel that you beat an exemplary an opponent, you have an exemplary resume, they can elevate you. They elevated Joe Calzaghe because he made 10 defenses. They elevated Usyk because they felt he was an exemplary fighter. He had an exemplary resume. Part of the criteria, you'll laugh when I say this, and I can read it to you, is if you have a deal with a major network, they'll elevate you to super champion.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's crazy. Let me let Billy get in here. I think that's who's that? That's dude from Chicago. I forget his name. Go ahead, Billy. Oh, if you don't want, you gonna talk or not? No, fuck it then. All right.
Hey, can I just say this about the WBC?
The background, bro. Put him in the back. Yeah.
Hey, listen, it has 7. This WBC has 7 points to the WBC franchise champion, and the WBN World Boxing News outlines. It says, number 1, franchise champion designation is exclusively by appointment of the WBC Board of Governors by a majority of the board of vote. So they got to vote for this stuff, man. And it says Lomo was voted by the WBC as their main active fighter after similar were handed out to Floyd Mayweather, Canelo, and Vitaly Klitschko in the past. Number 2, the designation is not transferable and is exclusively to the fighter who receives such designation.
They
say an outline, Lomo is unable to pass the honor to another fighter. It says right here, Lomo is unable to pass the honor to another fighter. It says that right here.
They changed it because Lopez.
Right here. It says
they changed it, Corey.
But this is why it's disputed. This is literally why it's disputed.
They changed it, Corey, because after Lopez beat Lomachenko, he became the franchise champion. They changed it for that. They changed it for that fight, and they continued. Watch. Let's look on BoxRec.
Crazy, man.
They changed it.
So that falls underneath, Beebs. That falls underneath. That down falls underneath when the WBC they can change something under their what's the word that they use under their
discretion.
Like damn, it was a word they used, man. It was like under their rules kind of only, man. It was just, man, it was one of those words where I was just like, man, they pretty much has this thing rigged up, man.
The words, Corey, are at the discretion of the WBC.
Yeah, at their discretion. Yeah, that was the word. I thank you, man.
Which basically says we can fuck whenever we want.
Let's let Billy get in. He's having problems with his audio. You got your audio squared away?
Discretion.
Yeah, I see your audio's screwed up, man. Yeah,
your audio, bro.
Yeah, his audio's jacked up.
But yeah, man, like I was saying, it just says on here that the franchise champion agrees to participate in a minimum of 2 social responsibilities events every year.
Yeah, but
that
they
has
switched
nothing
it.
to do with that. The
They switched
WBC may recognize a WBC champion in the division or divisions where the franchise champion currently competes. So it says right here, the number 6 point is the WBC may recognize a WBC champion in the same division or divisions where the franchise champion currently competes. For example, if Lomo moves up to super lightweight and beats the current title holder, the WBC champion would then become vacant.
That's the
for
original
another contender.
That was the original criteria, but they changed it.
That's
because
crazy.
you know that Lopez was called the franchise. He had 2 WBC belts going into the ring. They called him they changed it. So basically what happened was the franchise designation ended up turning into the WBC super title. That's what happened. That's what happened. They
So
make
what do
the
you
rules
think?
up.
So Beebs, what do you think the franchise champion is? Do you think that's like more of an interim belt? Do you feel like
That's that. In my opinion, the franchise
your
champion. In my opinion, the franchise champion is the WBC's version of the super champion, just like the WBA has a super champion and the WBO has a super champion.
Let me
if
ask you
feel
this,
somebody
Joe.
has a franchise champion, Beebs, you recognize that franchise champion as the real champion.
Now I do.
Corey,
Based
Corey
off
Joe.
of what Mauricio Suleiman has said in recent
because
interviews.
Corey and Joe,
Wow.
I'm going to
That's why you recognize it?
ask you a philosophical question, right? Not really, but kind of. Did Teofimo Lopez win the franchise title from Vasyl Lomachenko, or did he beat Vasyl Lomachenko and then the WBC made him a franchise champion to Corey Lee's one of my kids.
From what I was told, from what I heard,
you understand the question though, right?
Yes.
Yeah, it had to
from
be
what I
transferred
was
because he didn't hold the
told,
belt.
from what I was told, and what I heard out of Lopez Jr.'s mouth was, he said that for this fight, the franchise title was transferable, and it was. It was on the line, and Mauricio Suleiman had said it before the fight as well. It was said that the winner of this fight will win the franchise title. So it was made transferable. So yeah, he beat. In my opinion, I think he beat Lomachenko for that title. He took.
Hey Joe, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Oh, I was just making sure. I thought my audio was messed up because it kicked me out earlier. But
So
so you recognize it just because it's transferable? Is that why you recognize it?
I recognize it based off of what Mauricio Suleiman has said. He said, he was asked, is Teofimo Lopez undisputed? He said, yes. He said, well, what about the franchise title? Is it sort of like the WBA super champion? He goes, yes, you could say that. So
and
that's basically he changed it.
And that's
he
what
changed
Suleiman
it.
said. Is that what you're saying, B?
You can go on the internet and you can go on YouTube and you can find the interview.
Wow.
Yeah, I need to see. I need to see the unify first. They got to unify, and then I could give it the.
So basically, so let me ask you this. It
says right here. Hold on, Beebs. It says right here. It says number 7. It says number 7. There's 7 points to the franchise champion. I did not read number 7 yet. Number 7, and more importantly, says the WBC may award a diamond champion belt in those fights in which the franchise champion engages. If the franchise champion loses, the winner will receive the diamond belt and may be considered as a mandatory contender of the division. What the fuck is that? That means if you lose, that means
look at this.
If the champion loses, the winner will receive the diamond belt.
So
if you hold on, if you beat, it says right here, if you beat the franchise champion, then that means that they will consider you as a mandatory contender of the division. They will consider.
I'm going to read you this article, parts of this article from Ring TV back on October 12th. Okay. Suleiman.
I don't think they got a diamond champ.
Let me finish here. Suleiman stated that
right here on the website.
Let me read this. This is from October 12th. Suleiman stated that he received a request from Teofimo Lopez Jr. and from Top Rank, the promoter of the fight, that the winner of the fight would be the WBC franchise champion. Suleiman also revealed that Lomachenko is the WBC champion, and he petitioned for and was awarded the franchise designation. Devin Haney currently holds the WBC title. When asked if the winner of Lomachenko Lopez will be the undisputed lightweight champion, Suleiman said yes. The franchise designation puts the winner of Lomachenko Lopez above any of the champions in the lightweight category, including, it appears, Haney. Lomachenko is the WBC lightweight champion with special attributes without having to face mandatories that a champion has to face, Suleiman said. The franchise designation is to allow the big fight that the fans want to see. So he says, with the franchise, the fight is happening in the lightweight division, Suleiman said. We've created one concept that's very limited, which allows things to happen. So basically, he just told you that that's their version of the super title. That's out of his own mouth. He said Teofimo Lopez is undisputed. So the franchise title became basically.
Again, Joe, you're absolutely right. But again, if you're Devin Haney, when you accepted that email title, quote unquote, excuse the frying in the background, I'm making my breakfast. If he did that, he did it based upon everything Corey Lee just read out.
Yes.
And at that point,
we changed the rules.
That's why it's being disputed.
Yes.
Literally, the definition of disputed is what's going on.
It can be
at this point, ladies and gentlemen, this WBC belt is very disputable. Very, in my eyes.
Exactly. I don't dispute it.
I've been covering the sport for a while now.
I don't dispute it, and I'll tell you why I don't dispute it. Because if the WBA and the WBO can have super champions, then why can't the WBC?
But Beeb, they did it in the middle of a fight. Nobody fought for the belt. They just made
let me ask you this.
Belt appear.
Let me ask you this.
Nobody fought for it.
Let me ask you this. Was the cruiserweight limit?
How do you make a rule? Hold on, Beeb. How do you make a rule?
Because it's done all the time. It's done all the time. Because let me ask you this. Why did the cruiserweight title go from 190 to 200? Now they're talking about bringing it back down to 190. They make these rules up as they go along all the time. Let me just read this super chat real quick. These so-called sanctioning bodies are destroying the sport. There needs to be a consolidation and just have one main promotion like UFC is for MMA. To do that, some of these mafia heads need to go. That's never going to happen, bro. Sorry. Go ahead, Corey.
Yeah, so I just feel like, right now, the WBC definitely has their version of their own, belts right now.
I'm not going to argue.
The best way I can explain to you guys, for everyone out there listening, I just feel like the WBC, it's a money thing. At the end of the day,
I'm not going to argue with anybody that says Teofimo Lopez is not Teofimo Lopez was not.
But it wasn't
undisputed.
His fault though either, Beebs. I mean,
I'm not going to argue if you dispute whether he was undisputed. I'm not going to argue with you. All I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, based off of the interpretation from Mauricio Suleiman, thank Top Rank for making that title transferable because they requested it.
Let me flip it like this, Joe. Right? Yep. Given what Corey Lee has laid out, those 7 points that were around when Devin Haney accepted the email championship, the one that obviously Lomachenko didn't want to defend because he wanted a bigger money fight against Teofimo Lopez, a more significant fight because Lopez was bringing belts. Based on what Corey Lee says, does Devin Haney not have a dispute?
Well, yes, he does.
Devin Haney have a dispute.
He has a dispute. Yes.
Well, then it's undisputed. Then it's disputed. That's it.
But
that's why I say it's disputed.
It is undisputed if someone disputes it. Yeah.
Is that?
But I'm not disputing it.
But you've always
have mandatory.
But Beebs, can I say this one thing?
Yes.
But Beebs, you've always disputed this belt. I've heard you on the show plenty of times saying that you. Come on now, I'm being honest. I'm calling a spade a spade.
Now, why am I changing? Why am I changing my opinion on this though?
Dude, only you know that.
Only question I got is, do that belt have
if the president of the sanctioning body is telling me that Teofimo Lopez is undisputed, and he's telling me that the franchise title is basically their version of the super
Steve,
champion.
you're changing your mind because you have new information.
That's
When people get
that's
new
why.
information, they change
B,
their mind. Right?
B,
Am I
does
right
that
or am I
belt have
wrong?
mandatory?
That's exactly right. If the man who created the title
That's
is telling,
crazy though, B. I mean, I feel what you're saying. But
it's crazy that he makes it up as he goes along. I'm not going to argue with that. Once again, he fucks up everything.
But does the belt
God,
have
it's
mandatory?
crazy.
Because if the
Because
belt don't have
I've heard you
mandatory, how can
on
be
a
champ?
live stream.
I
say
won't deny
before.
it. I won't
heard you on a
deny
live
it.
stream. You're like, man, Devin Haney.
Guys, you know what so go ahead, Corey.
And I'm going to stand by what I just said.
Well,
Devin
guys,
Haney,
the thing
Devin Haney
is
does
this.
have a claim. Devin Haney does have the right to dispute it because
So you're sticking to that point. Though.
I'm sticking to that point because
Well, here's the thing,
what he was originally told was he was the champion.
The good news is that Kambosos, unlike Teofimo, has made it clear he wants to fight Devin Haney. The good news is he's not going up to 140. The good news is he's flying out to. I just heard him say it. I was right there live at the Garden in the press area. He's going to Las Vegas. He's going to the Devin Haney JoJo fight, and he wants the winner. So at the end of the day, you know what? It don't really matter when it boils down to it because
we don't know if that's official.
He's not going to be vacating the titles and moving up to a catch weight or to a whatever weight to fight Josh Taylor or somebody else. He's defending the lightweight championship of the world, so it's all good.
Does that belt have mandatories? Because if it don't have mandatories, you can't be the champ.
But he wants to fight Devin Haney.
That's good. I congratulate
him.
Do
you think Mauricio Sulaiman is going to tell him he can't fight Devin Haney if he wants to? I don't think so.
I don't know. I feel like he might want to collect that paycheck, 2 paychecks.
He ain't going to fight. I don't think Lopez is going to fight him in a rematch.
Nah, he didn't sound like it. He was dismissing it, talking about his weight. He had like 6 different excuses.
I believe right now, you guys, right now, when I look at the whole situation into its entirety, I just truly feel like right now, the more and more I think about this undisputed, is he disputed? Is he undisputed? It's just the WBC made this bed and now they got to lay in it. They made this shit. They made everything the way it is now. They made a fucking title up literally after a fight was already.
They did what they did, and they're going to continue to do what they do.
We were supposed to be cleaning the sport up, Beebs.
It ain't never going to happen.
Say all the time.
It ain't ever going to happen.
Bro, Corey Lee, check it out, right? Yesterday, the entire
we'll never know if we keep this shit up, Beebs.
No, Corey Lee, it's fine. Listen,
I'm not doing anything. I don't work for them.
Joe, Corey Lee, it's fine. Listen, yesterday at the fight, the only people talking undisputed were Team Lopez. They were the one with the track suits on with undisputed at the back. It was Team Lopez that was carrying around the belts and telling everybody who would listen that they were undisputed. Kambosos never said he was undisputed.
He probably never going to do it.
They didn't announce him as undisputed. They didn't announce Teofimo as undisputed going into the fight or in the ring announcement. You can go back and watch it. Kambosos wants Haney. Haney wants those other belts.
Well, let me ask you.
The only thing that could get in the way of this, and it's not even a bad thing if you think about it, because it would be a good fight too. But the only thing that could get in the way of this is if Ellaby and Mayweather make a big offer to Kambosos and get him to fight 10. Other than that, we're seeing Devin Haney against Kambosos. He says he wants it. He's flying to LA. He's not going. To Vegas. He's not going home to Australia. He wants to fight.
What I want to know is, can we stop calling people pound for pound with less than 5 title defenses? Because that shit is
Giving Quality asked me. He said, "Watch this, Beeb. Does Kambosos replace Lopez on pound for pound?" I'm not a big pound for pound guy, but I'm
gonna say
I agree with Ruga. I agree with Ruga. I don't even think Lopez should have been on the pound for pound.
I don't think Kambosos should be on the pound for pound list right now. I'm gonna be honest, man. This is one win. He definitely deserves this win. He deserves all the accolades that come along with this win. But let's be fucking honest, man. This is one fucking guy. Yeah, he beat Lee Shelby and a couple other guys, but this is his biggest win. This is what we know Kambosos for. This big win now. This is his career-defining win. Okay, let's not act like he had all of these A-level, smashed out, he just dominated every fight he was in. Kambosos barely got to this point. He had split decision wins. Y'all need to go ahead and back and look at those fights. Okay? That's
Corey,
why I
he's
say the things
he's
I say
not
about
he's not
Kambosos.
he's not
I'm
Canelo.
not disrespecting. Hold on. I'm not disrespecting Kambosos one bit, okay? But what I am saying is he got to this point off of pure heart and dedication. And I can take nothing away from that. But there is a ceiling with Kambosos. I'm being honest with you. Okay.
Well, there is, but here's the thing.
You put Kambosos in there right now with Shakur Stevenson. I'm picking Shakur Stevenson.
Let me tell you this. A guy who I think is a pound for pound guy is not on anybody's list. Where's Ioka at? He was more accomplished than Teofimo. He wasn't on most people's list. He had a great win against Tanaka.
Who?
He's a Kazuo Ioka from Japan, the 115 pounder. Where's he at? Why isn't he on list? He's a 4-weight world champion.
How many weight class has he moved up?
4-weight world champion.
You gotta move up. You gotta move up 5, dude.
Gotta move up 5. Come on, bro. What I'm telling,
go like Canelo.
Has Crawford moved up 5? Has Crawford moved up 5? Has Crawford moved up 5?
Listen, you're only as good. You're only as
far as those lower weight divisions, Inouye is my guy. Until he beats Inouye, which is at 1 weight class higher, then talk to me. Then fucking talk to me. I've never heard of this guy.
All I'm saying is, first of all,
smaller weight
Corey,
divisions,
number one,
if he's really that good, fight Inouye. Then talk to me.
Number one, I brought up Ioka because I was agreeing with you. Unlike Teofimo, who had a 1 signature win against Lomachenko, or Kambosos, who has 1 signature win against Lopez, Ioka's got multiple signature wins. Look, Kambosos and Teofimo are not Canelo. They're not Crawford. They're not Inoue. They're not Usyk. They're not the other guys that I have high up in terms of most accomplished in the sport. That's for sure. But you got to give Ioka his credit. And at the end of the day, you didn't know. At the end of the day, you didn't know. At the end of the day, you didn't know who he was. So look him up.
But you gotta think,
you put me on to him. I mean, like I said, when it goes underneath the 115 barrier, I mean, these are grown men fighting at 100 pounds soaking wet. At that point, I really don't want to watch the fight.
But
I'm just being honest. I have nothing against them.
Isn't that the purpose of the pound for pound, so that we don't we give them shine without comparing them to?
Yeah, but it's like, what can you really do?
I fucking hate pound for pound, man. I fucking hate
pound for pound. What can a real 115-pound fighter do, man, in real life? What?
Nah, at them little
weights, tell me.
They like 3 pounds
I don't.
apart.
You're bringing this guy up. I have nothing against this guy, but in real life situations, what the fuck can he do? His hands are registered, and he'll still get beat the fuck up.
Welcome to pound for pound, Corey. That's why. Welcome to pound for pound. That's why I don't like pound for pound. To me, the best fighter in the world is the heavyweight champion of the world.
Me too.
Which is Usyk. Which I said Usyk was the top pound for pound guy 3 years ago. Which is Usyk. Thank you. Beebs can tell you.
Shout out to Mello. He said Kambosos has 5 straps, WBC franchise, WBA, WBO, IBF in the ring.
Bro, they only going up 3 pounds each division. So you think
they're only going up 2 or 3 pounds.
This is all opinion based, bro. Like I can't.
But I mean, I respect him. I respect what he's what you know what I mean. But come on, man.
Like, bro, nah, dog. It's only like 10 pounds.
Like, yo, you're moving up 4 weight classes from 106.
Bro, Crawford went up 5 pounds to go from 135 to 140. What are you talking about?
But
from
that's
105 to 113.
That's one division.
What are you talking about? Tank Davis went up from 130 to 135 to 140. That's a 5-pound jump.
That's
like,
2
keep it real.
divisions, not 4.
Kevin, you got your mic squared away, Kevin? Mic check, Kevin.
Kevin from Chicago?
Yeah, he ain't got his mic squared away. Come on, Kevin.
Man, that may be a good thing for your channel, bro. You might get demonetized.
Kevin, you got your mic squared away? What's up? God damn it, this dude, man. He's a trip.
Guys, Corey Lee, we got to connect, bro, so we could have a debate on your channel, on my channel, just talk boxing.
All right, man. I'm down, man. I'm always
Joe
down to
Habib, you
debate
could set
stuff.
that up.
Of course.
All
He
right,
could be on.
just set
Yo, you want to have him on the round table on one
100.
Thursday?
That's what I was thinking of. 100%.
Yeah, we'll put him on a round table one Thursday.
Yeah. Or on Mano a Mano Live with Kenny T.
Yeah, he
Live
could go on
2 p.m.
Monday,
Eastern.
whatever. We gotta start putting him in the rotation, man. He's an OG.
I'll see you guys later.
All right, man.
All
Yo,
right,
Maestro,
peace
Maestro.
out, yo.
Are you still there? Oh, he
I'm
froze up.
here.
I was about to ask him a question, but he froze up.
But yeah,
Nah,
Beebs. So I
I
mean, moving forward, Beebs. I mean, what do you think? What do you think about the whole, like, everything that's going on and at 135 pounds right now? Kambosos just
It's wide open
switched
now.
up the whole division.
Wide
man.
open
This
now.
big win right here has just switched up the whole division.
Nah, not really. I think these just gotta fight each other still. I don't like how Ryan Garcia.
You say you
so
feel like
quick.
what?
They still gotta fight each other. It's the same
Who is
thing.
they still got to fight each other?
The top four ranked.
You hear me?
Now I can hear you. About
Oh,
fucking
Billy,
time.
we hear
God
you, Bill,
damn it.
buddy.
You got what are you in a tunnel?
Billy, we hear you.
Go ahead, Kevin.
Let's do it. Let's get right down to it.
Go ahead, burn, brother. Burn, baby, burn.
I gotta give a shout out to you and Eric. I got that Manscaped, so came in the mail.
Oh, thank you, brother. Thank you so much. I
Oh,
appreciate
they
that,
did what you
man.
said, man.
Man, I
Thank
never
you,
went
brother.
shit. So for seeing that come in the mail, that made my day. Got to give a
All
shout
right.
out, huge thanks to that.
Yeah, we're men of our word.
Oh, Billy, you want a prize?
Yeah, we have like these contests on Sunday, man. I'm glad you enjoyed it, man.
All right, Billy.
Big time.
Good job, man.
So Kambosos, it's a little bit different when you are fighting the Hobbit Man, Lomachenko, the Hobbit Man, 5'2", the short, stubby arms. It's a little bit different, and you ain't fighting somebody who comes straight in with their chin in the air like Comey. This dude's really smart, long fighter. Doesn't have to get on the inside. He can stay on the outside and wait for Lopez. Lopez is the one that had to come forward and push the action. And Kambosos, all he had to do was stay on the outside, pick him apart. He had the length to do so. So that's my thoughts on that. It's a little bit different when you fight somebody with the game plan and has the tools, the facilities, so I should say, to use those tools. The length, the footwork. It's just Lomachenko, man. The dude is so tiny. Tiny little feet, tiny little hands, tiny little arms. And I think that's what the difference was. You saw Lopez struggle with that Nakatani dude, someone with some reach and height. I feel that's the same way.
It's crazy, huh?
Yes, sir.
It's a crazy
No.
fight, man.
That's what I'm saying. These dudes they get a couple wins, and all of a sudden they think they're running the show. You gotta put in some work. You gotta put years in.
Yeah, do you think they had a lack of self-awareness? Do you think they were delusional going into this fight? I mean, obviously, I didn't think he was going to lose last night, but I was a little worried moving forward with his mental state of mind, the way he was talking, the way his dad was talking. What did you think of all that craziness?
Insecurity right there. That's what it seems to me. It's insecurity. And I think the way this fight kept getting pushed back, I think that definitely didn't look good. I think that played in the insecurity too. Like, he kept pushing the fight back months at a time, and I think you knew it's a dangerous fight. This isn't not fighting the Hobbit Man. I'm not fighting some dude that's gonna come straight in with their chin in the air like Comey. Kambosos is a smart fighter. We've seen him. He'll do whatever it takes to get the win. We've seen that with Selby.
So you
And I
think
I thought
that's
they
what
was
it was.
pushing the fight back for more money. That's how I thought they was pushing the fight back for. I don't think they was really scared of this dude at all. I thought they thought he's gonna be easy work, and then he was going in for a quick knockout, and he gassed out early, and that fucked him up. Once he gassed out, then it was done, and then he got dropped early, so that didn't help at all.
I gotta put
I
it
don't think- You think it was an underestimation? You think they kind of underestimated him?
Definitely. Definitely. Hell yeah. He just tried to walk through him like he wasn't shit. That didn't work out. And then in the later rounds, he was still trying to push. It's just he couldn't throw punches. He was so tired. I can tell that weight drain is fucking him up. I ain't gonna make no excuse for him. He chose to wait. So like I don't think he's gonna even want the rematch because after the fight he was talking about moving up. I think he knows in his head it's like he's cut too much because he looked way bigger than fucking Kambosos on the fight. Like Kambosos looked small as shit.
I want
He
to
looked
ask.
thinner.
I'm gonna put a
Thinner, but
poll.
he had the reach though. He was long and he was quick.
I'm gonna
So he
put a
didn't
poll
have
in the
to-
chat. I want to put a poll in the chat. I want to ask everybody: did anyone score that fight for Lopez? I know one person. I know one
Nah.
person that scored that for
Nah.
Kambosos.
I had a
You got-
7-5. I had a 7. I had
That
a,
Jack dude was on some
I had a vote.
drugs. That Jack dude was on some drugs, bro. Even the New York crowd said Kambosos won.
No rematch clause
nah.
either. No rematch clause either. Ain't that awesome?
It is no rematch
It is
clause.
awesome. It's a breath of fresh air right
There's
there.
no
So-
rematch clause.
Yo, I'm so sick
Nah.
of the bullshit.
How did they get that bees with no rematch clause?
Mandatory.
Because it was a mandatory. I don't know how fucking Anthony Joshua, man. No, like
He
if you
gets
you
all of the rematch clause.
no,
anyone
no.
that fights-
Champions can put that in the clause, but they got to get.
I mean, if you
the
fight
mandatory
Anthony
more
Joshua, you got to sign over the rights to your firstborn child. You got to.
I ain't lying, bees. I ain't lying.
I don't know how they get those fucking contracts for him, man. I mean, he got some
I ain't
fucking
lying.
pull. It's crazy. It's crazy because anybody.
Also,
Oh,
Also, when
you're
you
on
do it-
mute, Corey. You lost your voice. You lost your audio.
but like I was saying, when Anthony Joshua fought Usyk, they didn't do a mandatory shot as in like the contract. They gave him it's weird. It happened with Brandon Rios and Chavez, I believe his name is.
Oh yeah.
But basically, if the mandatory wants to fight, you remember Kell Brook, he will always do it. That's why he would never fight his mandatories. He offers the mandatory a fight under a different contract. So it's
Oh, I'm
for a
sure
certain
they could
amount
do.
of money.
Yeah, I'm sure they can do all that shit if they want. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what Anthony Joshua does, which is why he always gets the rematch in the clause.
I got you. J Mac 504. What's up, man? J Mac, you got
J
anything? for
Mac,
us?
what's up?
Yo, what's up?
What's going
What's
on,
up,
brother?
J Mac 504? Is that the New Orleans?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Hot Louisiana, what's happening?
Not much, man. Just called in. My first time hearing Beeb. I heard Beeb on that show. I just missed my Astro. I should have hopped on when he was on.
Oh,
Could have
what's
been
going on?
entertaining.
So what'd you
Nah,
think, man? What'd you think, man? Craziness, huh? It's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it definitely was crazy, man. I was at a basketball tournament all day yesterday. Got home and I didn't even know because I didn't pay attention to my phone. But it definitely was shocking. But when I got home and watched it, I wasn't surprised because some of his delusion and some of the stuff he was saying before the fight made me question what he was and what he really was mentally. And it just in boxing, it went out and he was proved to be delusional. I mean, I think the preparation, I think the height went to the head, and I think like the best case of saying somebody who had never had nothing and finally got something, and they drove their car off the cliff. And I actually think I kind of justice was served on my end because when you got a guy running around here talking about like you get a fight and then it just go to your head and you tell everybody you gonna take over, you go fight the fights, and and the way he was talking, I don't think he had plans on doing what he said he was doing. So he got in there, found himself in a situation with a mandatory that got pushed back quite a few times, and then when he got in there, he couldn't fit the bill.
Yeah, I got you. I mean, he looked
And
like he
that's
wasn't
the-
mentally
Hey,
prepared for the fight to me.
Hey, Bees, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Hey, the reason why I picked you guys in the chat, the reason why I picked Usyk, my #1 pound for pound fighter, is because no other man that's walking in this box in the square circle can beat Alexander Usyk in the square circle, any weight class. So it's just like, to me, he already was at a lower weight class at cruiserweight and then moved up to heavyweight. Okay, did everything he could possibly accomplish at cruiserweight and is on his way to accomplishing everything that I thought he could accomplish 3 years ago at heavyweight. Okay, that is the reason why I put him, because if you put Terrence Crawford and Alexander Usyk in the same ring, who the fuck is your money going on? He's gonna beat the shit out of Terrence Crawford. No disrespect, but it's just like one of those things. They make weight classes for a reason. Alexander Usyk is my #1 pound for pound fighter in the entire world. Nobody can beat him. Period.
Well, I totally disagree with that because I will argue that Terrence Crawford has moved up 3 weight classes and three-time champion, 3 different weight classes. Usyk has moved up to 2.
The way I argue it is, how many pounds did you move up?
But
Because
who's gonna
Usyk
win
done
when they
moved
get
up
in the
20
ring, J-Mac?
pounds.
I mean,
Hey.
who is that? Roga? Who is it?
Damn. Hey, can I finish what I
Usyk-
was saying, Roga? I
Go
mean,
ahead.
can I finish what I was saying? Nah, what I was saying was, when I'm responding to what Corey Lee just said. When I look at their 2 styles, I respect Usyk's style. I definitely didn't think he could beat AJ, but I guess I learned that. I just
Yeah,
thought
you gotta
AJ was
learn sometimes, J-Mac. You gotta learn in life. In life, there's lessons that be taught. That's one of them.
right. The reason why I didn't think he could beat AJ and plus,
Oh, his sound went out. Everyone's
But
struggling
I was
today
gonna
with the
say,
internet.
when you talk about weight class, you talking about
in there
moving
and
up 3 weight.
lose.
Oh, he's
If,
back.
if
He's
you go,
back. Go ahead, J Mac.
J-Mac, we couldn't hear you. Could you hear him, Beeb? I couldn't hear him.
No, he cut out. I don't know if he's back.
You cutting out, J-Mac, a 504
I
from New
think
Orleans. You're cutting in and out, dude.
it looked like y'all show cutting in and out.
No,
So
no,
let
we
me-
good.
let me
We
take-
good. We good.
All right, let me take you off my Wi-Fi. Hold on.
Wi-Fi be tripping sometimes, man. So you don't think Fury has any shot of beat Usyk, man? You think that's going to be that's a lock? That's a lock? Is that what you're saying?
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, I hear him.
Okay.
For the next 3 years, nobody will be Usyk, man. And your boy Tyson Fury is going down, dude. Get the fuck out of here, Beebs. Get out of here, dude. Don't do that. Don't start that shit already. It's too fucking early in the morning to be starting that shit, Beebs.
Oh, shit.
You're already
No, hold
getting
on.
antsy.
Before we
You're
get
not
to
on any
Fury-
fucking treadmill right now. Calm yourself down, dude.
Hey, before we get to Fury whipping his ass, I want to stay on the Crawford because I'm glad you brought that up. I still will argue Crawford's skills to me and everything he be able to do, the ability to make adjustments, ability to move up multiple 3 weight classes. And that's my argument on Usyk. Yeah, Usyk moved up 2 and he was undisputed in 1, and he beat AJ in heavyweight. I mean, that's a strong argument.
But J-Mac, the only thing I have to say to you, man, and
on,
everybody
bruh.
in the
I gotta
comment
speak on
section,
that.
and Ruga as well, everybody that picked Anthony Joshua, you already knew that,
I didn't
Anthony
pick
Joshua was
Joshua.
gonna win, and when he didn't, you gave Usyk a little bit of credit, but now y'all diminishing in it by saying
But-
other people are better than him. Right now, in
Nah,
my
I wouldn't.
personal
Let me
opinion,
let me
my
speak on that
personal
real quick.
opinion,
Corey Lee,
Alexander Usyk is the #1 pound for pound fighter in the
Come on,
world.
Mike.
Terrence Crawford could never get in the ring with Usyk, man. It
Nah,
would be a
but
mismatch. The
Hold on,
weights are
nah, I wanted to
two
speak on
totally
that
different weights.
because
That's why it's
Hold on.
pound for pound. The best fight the best, okay? Nobody
You-
can get in the ring with Usyk. Terrence Crawford is not Usyk's size, so they would not get in the ring with each other.
But the problem is, he's bringing up weight classes, but the weight class change is different. Crawford moved up 14 pounds. Usyk done moved up more than 20. It's a total difference. So you can't just say, oh, he moved up 3 weight classes. You got to think about it as in terms of size difference. He's moving up 20 pounds, which is way bigger than Crawford moved up. So when you talk about weight
That's
classes,
what I'm trying to tell
it's
these guys,
irrelevant.
man. They don't understand that concept.
Like the guy was talking
No,
about 4
stop.
weight classes. That's only 10 pounds at those midget weights. That's 112,
Hold on.
115,
Hold on.
118,
Okay.
122.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
That's nothing.
That's
Yes,
what
Jay.
I'm talking about, B.
Yes,
I don't
Jay.
know where you found
Okay.
this dude at, but keep him on the channel, man.
Go ahead,
Keep this
Jay.
dude on the
Let
channel,
Jay
man.
let Jay
Hey.
get in. Let
He's
Jay get
speaking
in.
some real shit.
Let Jay
First
get
of all, stop comparing me to y'all. You obviously argue against Usyk haters. And yes, I thought Usyk I couldn't understand Usyk beating the big guy because it had to be proven. So stop saying y'all. You obviously been arguing with dudes that haven't given him his credit, and I just gave you my reason why I thought Usyk would lose to the bigger guys, the 6'6" guys, the 6'7" guys, the 6'9" guys. Yes, he beat an AJ, and yes, that was impressive. But he has to do it again to dispute whether
He's
he
got to
can
do it
be.
again. So, but I'm saying,
Or
J-Mac, you didn't really believe him before. Why would you
it's
believe
okay.
him now? He just beat Joshua, and you're still not giving him enough credit. You're saying he's got to do it again?
Look, Corey Lee, listen.
I mean, what are we doing at the end of the day? What are we really doing?
Because he
J-Mac?
got to win the rematch, bro. He still got to win the rematch. You acting like he already won the
I feel you
rematch.
on that, Beebs, and I feel you on that, J-Mac. But you got to get it credit that this guy dominated a long reigning champion. You know?
Hold on, stop. Hey, but listen, bro. Dude, I understand we debating, but you're not gonna tell me what type of credit I gotta give because I got a set of eyes and I watch the sport the way I want to watch the sport. You watch the sport the way you want to watch the sport. It's like I don't get it. Like it, but the fact of the matter is,
Corey's a sycophant.
That comment,
He's a sycophant.
man, you know what? You got it, bro. You got your own set of eyes. You said it your own self, J-Mac. Your own set of eyes disobeyed the shit out of you when you picked Joshua. You know, you're like, yo, whatever you seen in Joshua, I never seen in Joshua. So that's
the only reason why you
don't even agree from the jump.
We don't have to agree.
I never believed in Joshua. That's the difference between me and you.
All right, say, bro, listen, with all due respect, stop fucking cutting me off because now that's the only way we could get to a debate or you winning one. Listen, I'm gonna tell you what I'm saying because you keep speaking for me and telling me I never believed in fucking Joshua. I just picked a fight. Like you're telling me like you fucking know me or you know who I am. I don't believe in no fucking AJ. I just picked a fight that was coming up. I said who I think is going to win the fight out of the bigger guy or the smaller guy moving up that I didn't think looked that impressive at heavyweight. So I went with the guy AJ and picked a style match. Stop speaking for me and telling me what I am. You don't even fucking know me. Corey. Like relax, dude.
I'm not speaking for you.
Hey,
I'm not speaking for you.
Corey, check this
out. I got a question.
When you picked AJ.
Corey, check this out. Check this out. When you go to the betting window and you bet in a fight, there's no line on the board that says, do you believe in this guy or do you believe in that guy?
Exactly.
You just pick who you think going to win the fight.
I put money on Usyk.
I put my own money
on the Usyk versus Joshua fight. Beebs, you know I did.
But there's
but you essentially do believe in that person if you bet on him.
But you making this more than it has to be.
Exactly.
Like why you gotta
there.
believe in the dude. Either you think he's gonna win a fight or you don't think he's gonna win a fight.
But if you put your money on it, you putting your belief.
Hey, I didn't put no money on it. All I'm trying to say is I want to explain why I picked him. I don't want to be told why I picked him. I don't want to be assumed why I picked him.
Corey's just trolling, man. He loves Usyk, man.
Go ahead and say what you gotta say, J-Mac.
Okay.
Yeah, he been going.
I picked AJ because when I looked at Usyk moving up, my belief was Usyk hasn't shown me with my set eyes, my boxing eyes, everything I know about boxing. I say, damn, I think he's going to struggle with the bigger guys like a AJ, a Wilder, a Tyson Fury. Yes, I think Usyk can beat a lot of guys at heavyweight, but the big guys I thought would be able to use their size effectively and just make him a smaller man in the ring. That's what I picked. He had to go in there and beat an AJ and be like, okay, now I'll move the notch to him. So just because your eyes been on Usyk, just like my eyes was on Bud, and I know Bud can move up and do the things at 147 that he's already doing because I followed Bud like that. You obviously followed Usyk like that. I followed Usyk enough to where I say, well, damn, he's great. I respect his pound for pound run. I know he could beat some heavyweights, but he got to show me more. Just like you got fighters that you're not that privy to seeing or you're not following like that. You be like, this guy moves up. He has to show you more. If we was talking about another topic, this is what you're doing me right now. If we was talking about another topic and you didn't know about I'll just say fucking Shakur Stevenson, and you probably do. Let's just use him as example. And he moves up.
I know a lot about Shakur Stevenson.
No. Understand that.
He's being hypothetical, Corey. He's being hypothetical.
Let's just say
Beeb, let me tell you what, Beeb.
Let him finish. Let him finish. Y'all keep cutting this dude off.
He been going.
Let him go.
Let's just say we was talking about Shakur Stevenson. Okay, and you didn't know that much about him, but you knew he was good. And he moved up, and I'm like, I've been telling you, like, this dude gonna beat everybody. He gonna move up to 135 and beat everybody, and he just clears cut good. Let's say he moved up to 135, and you're coming up and you're still watching him, and you've been thinking he's good, and then he moves up and trying to beat him, and you're like, well, nah, I don't know about it. He still got to, like, dude, you crazy, you delusional. I start going at you on your fandom of him or attacking you on why you think he hasn't proved it yet, because you are just privy to him. You new to him, or you still learning more, or he has to show you more. That's what Usyk is to me, moving up to the heavyweight. Yes, he was the man at cruiserweight, but moving up to the heavyweight, I need to see him beat those guys.
And
that's
I
why
don't. And I don't. That's the point. That's the difference between me and you. I already know what Usyk can do. That's the difference between me and you. You don't study Usyk. You don't really know a whole lot about Usyk. You're telling me that now.
You don't know what he knows. You don't know what he knows about Usyk. How do you know
he
he
just
knows?
told me he
said
don't
it.
know as
He
much
just
as I know
said it.
about Usyk.
No, I didn't say I don't study him. But I
You
don't
said
know
you didn't know much.
Say, bro, stop talking for me, man. Stop
That's
talking,
what
because
you
I probably
said.
know more boxing than all you motherfuckers. I done been in the ring.
Obviously, you don't.
Okay. I don't obviously
My
don't, because I'm
turn.
telling you, I need to see more of a fighter. What the fuck are we talking on here?
Exactly. He's the fucking undisputed champion. He moved up to heavyweight. How
All
much
he's
more
trying
you
to
need
tell.
see?
Check this out.
Fuck.
Check this out. We all thought Lopez was the man, right? After winning one fight. Look what happened.
I did pick Lopez to
Look
win.
what happened.
I didn't
Look
put
what
Lopez.
happened in his very next fight. So you can't just win
Yep.
one fight and think it's all you got it all sewn up. You got to do more. That's all
Don't
he's
you-
saying. That's all he's
Don't
saying.
you
Exactly.
dare,
Like
Beeb.
what? Like
Beeb,
no,
don't
hold
you
on,
dare.
Beeb.
We're talking
Beeb,
about a
hold on,
unified
Beeb.
champion
Beeb,
resume
hold on. I don't
through
know.
hell. Talk about
Listen,
Lopez. Come
I
on.
don't know what channel I done walked onto. All I'm saying is I've never been a hater on him. I have said, man, this dude got to move up and beat the bigger guys at
He still
heavyweight.
got to do more. He can't
Like,
just
he got
win
to do
one
more.
fight.
So
He
hold
can't
on.
just win one
It
fight.
ain't
never-
just one fight.
I never
B.
gave
Get the
Usyk-
fuck out of here, B.
Listen.
Come on, it ain't just
Hold
one
on.
fight, dude. Come
One
on.
Look,
fight at
I-
heavyweight that mattered. One fight at heavyweight.
But
that
come
mattered.
on, just
Who
one
I'm
fight.
going
That's
back
the
and
only
forth with?
credit
Corey
you
Lee
gonna
and Ruger?
give Usyk, Beebs.
You
Hey,
got to beat him in the rematch. What happened if you don't win the rematch?
What?
I said,
I
what
got
happened
one
if you
final
don't win
point.
the rematch?
Beeb, I got one final point before I head out. Let me squeeze it in real quick.
Go ahead.
Tell you what, those Greek Australians ain't playing. Volkanovski, UFC champion, in my opinion, he's the pound for pound best fighter in the world. 145-pound UFC champ, Greek from Australia. Then you got this Kambosos dude just came and shocked the world. So I got to get a shout out to those Greeks, those ancient Greeks. They know something. They don't play. They gave us all their information. So all y'all LDBC folk, once you put that in your pipe and smoke it, boom.
Got you.
like I was
Salute.
saying, man.
Good
Usyk-
job. Salute.
I give Usyk his props. I just obviously have a different fan level of him than some of you guys. All this, I need to watch him. I haven't studied him. That's your opinion. You talking shit you don't even fucking know and what have you. And I do study Usyk. He just got to prove it. Just like we all got our fans of fighters or how we watch fighters. Some fighters don't move up on our list as quick as other fighters. And that's not to say anything Usyk ain't great. I never said he wasn't. I just feel like he needs to show himself, in my eyes, more against the bigger guys. I don't have him beating Fury. I don't have him beating Wilder. That's something he got to go prove to me. Be like, God damn. Just like once upon a time, Bud is the guy I'm a fan of, like that. Like, I guess like you are. I thought Gamboa was gonna beat his ass when he was fighting Gamboa, and I'm like actually rooting for Gamboa in that fight. And Bud went in there and did he had to show he was that dude. It's just like sometimes fighters got to prove to you who you are. Like me as a fan, I said, okay, damn, that dude is really good.
Now, I see
Damn,
what
he
you
did
saying.
move
I
up
see
in
what
that.
you
So
saying, J Mac. A lot of people ain't. You know, I feel like a lot of people don't think Usyk proved himself enough, and that's true. That's true. You're very right about that. You know, and I just feel like right now, in my personal opinion, I feel like Usyk has done enough. But that's just my opinion, though. You know.
agreed. I respect your opinion. Now, as far as Bud and what you call, I still think that that's not a valid statement. I think they both are talented fighters, but I argue Bud also in skill set is still superior to Usyk, and I guess that's my personal opinion.
I mean, yeah, Bud Crawford is definitely up there, man. You know, but I just want to see him and Earl Spence fight. Just like, you know, a lot of people said they wanted to see Usyk and Joshua fight. Well, Usyk fought the big guy. you know, that was in his weight division, which was Joshua. Some say that's not enough. He's got to fight Tyson Fury. If Crawford fights Earl Spence, and let's just say Crawford beats Earl Spence, will the fans say that's enough? We don't know. We haven't got there yet. You know, will the fans say, well, he never beat Floyd Mayweather? Because to be honest with you, Terrence Crawford was still technically in Floyd Mayweather's era. You know what I mean? That's when he started. So it's just like one of those things, you know. Floyd Mayweather's never going to come out of retirement, man. So I just feel like, you know, how big can these welterweights get, you know, when it comes to selling, when it comes to, you know, for all of the fans to say that they are the greatest. You know, I feel like Crawford doesn't get all his accolades either, just like Usyk. You know, I seen Crawford wearing a Usyk shirt before. I seen that with my own eyes. So it's just like, I know he respects him, but it's just one of those things to compare these two guys. They're very comparable. They're both, you know, they both can fight southpaw. You know, they both can fight really good off the back foot. They can come forward. They have a lot of similarities. But you know, and they both have that killer instinct, which you got to have in boxing. You know, a lot of people, you know, degrade, you know, Usyk because of his size and his ability. But I just truly believe that, you know, he's solid at 220. I feel like he can beat all of the heavyweights, man. And that's just my personal opinion. You probably feel like Crawford can beat all of the welterweights. I want to see Crawford versus Earl Spence. That is the #1 fight that I'm clamoring for in the whole world of boxing. I don't want to see no other fight but Earl Spence and Terrence Crawford. That is the only fight I want to see in boxing right now. I'm just being honest, man.
So,
I pay
hold
for
on.
these pay-per-views. I don't know if you guys do, but I pay for a lot of these pay-per-views, and I'm getting tired of this shit. I want to see the best fight the best, and I want to see Crawford fight Earl Spence straight up.
Well, I don't got the fight going 9 rounds, and let me ask you a question because I'm gonna do you what you just did me. Okay, it has Crawford proven itself to you?
You said did Crawford prove itself to me?
Yeah.
I mean, in that Sean Porter fight, I really truly feel that, you know, he definitely showed why he's at the top. There's a lot that went behind that Sean Porter fight. A lot of people say Sean Porter didn't take that fight 100% seriously. A lot of people said he had 1 foot in the ring, 1 foot out the ring with his podcast and stuff. I'm not discrediting this performance at all. I know Earl Spence is. He thought Sean Porter was up on the scorecards leading to the on the 10th round. Earl Spence thought Sean Porter was winning the fight. So
I did too.
It depends. It's all on J-Mac. It's all on who you ask, bro. It's like one of those things. Like, I truly feel like I don't think Sean Porter was winning the fight going into the 10th. So I just feel like, you know, I truly feel like, you know, Terrence Crawford beat a game, but I don't feel like in his prime Sean Porter. But I feel like he beat a very game Sean Porter. I feel like Sean Porter could have still won that fight, man. I feel like, but his dad, I truly feel like his dad did the right thing by throwing in the towel, man. My personal opinion. I know people don't, they feel like, you know, a lot of people were taken back. We paid for the pay-per-view fight, so they feel like they wanted to see the fight go on. That's what a lot of callers and stuff say. A lot of fans say in the comments. They said, you know, Kenny Porter robbed us of seeing the knockout that we wanted to see, the stoppage that we wanted to see. But at the end of the day, that is his son. So I just feel like, you know, at what point do you detach yourself from being a trainer and being a father? And at the end of the day, I feel like Kenny Porter at that second in that fight, he had to make a decision. And I think it was a father decision, in my personal opinion.
I don't think it was a faulty decision. I think it was a decision that somebody that invested in their athlete, because it could have actually been an uncle, it could have been a coach, it could have been just a trainer or whatever the connection was. If you knew and had respect for what type of fighter Terrence Crawford was, you seen how he been doing the last 6 guys. And Kenny definitely, it probably was a fault. It was a trainer, and just best was going forward for the son to not go in there and become a rag dog, because that's what was going to happen. But he's probably one of the top, if not the top guy for when it comes out closing out fights. He does, and it always end in a fashion where the guy end up being punched around the ring, damn near unconsciously on his feet, if the referee don't get into it and get in the way, or he gets knocked out clean. And I don't think Kenny had too much pride to watch his son get punched around like that. So he definitely knew what was coming. If y'all looked at the fight and followed the respect he had for Crawford and what have you, he knew what type of fighter Crawford was. So he didn't want to see Sean in that situation. So for people saying he robbed us, he robbed you of watching shit that you might need to see and predict the outcome. I'm a fighter to where a boxer, trainer, coach, passionate fan to where I can watch any style and be just content with it. If a guy that can't punch outboxes you, I'm just good with that. If a guy is a puncher, boxer, I'm great with that. If a guy is a boxer, puncher, I'm good with that. If a guy knocks a guy out 2 times but can't get the knockout, I'm good with that too, because I understand they got levels to it, and people got to actually get in the ring and make the fight happen. And it's not as easy as we all think it is for dudes to just submit to being stopped or getting out of there. You got to be really masterful and strategic at getting that situation, getting up out of there.
Ruga, go ahead, jump in, man. I know you wanted to talk before.
I'm just saying, everybody be making these lists and ranking people and shit. You just gotta have a standard, and you gotta hold it for the whole list. Just when you do rankings, that's why this how the belts and shit get all confused, because they don't have a real standard. They just do whatever they want on the spot. So, like I said, when people make pound for pound lists, I don't really do it, because I like to think of fighters and I go off their resume and their skill set, and then I include all of it, but I don't really get into all of it. But you just got to have a standard. Are you going to go by accomplishments in terms of weight? Or are you going to go by resume? Or are you going to go by skill set? It all depends. Just keep a standard.
Let me tell you why you can't go by resume. Oh, go ahead. I thought you were done.
Go ahead. I would like to hear that. Why you can't go by resume?
Why you can't go by resume? Because everybody don't have the same type of names or talent in a weight class.
That's
so
very
how you
true.
rank them in
That's
a pound for pound?
100% true.
I'm gonna tell you what makes them pound for pound.
Especially
what makes them pound for pound stylistically, accomplishments, and what they have accomplished at multiple weight classes. From my understanding.
One question before you go on. You just said accomplishments. If they don't have those fighters in their weight class, how can they get those accomplishments?
Because you can only fight what's in front of you. I can't make a guy that doesn't have the names at a lower weight class go against the guy who has the names in a bigger weight class. When you do is you look at his style, you look at his accomplishments, and look everything he did to his fighters that was put in for him, and you compare with the other guy. And then you be like, okay, well, damn, he moved through this multiple weight classes, and his style proven to be undisputed. I'm gonna say undisputed because nobody can dispute it. Nobody did anything to beat it. So the other guy who may have bigger names, who moves through his weight class, and yes, he beat him. You may give him a nod saying, damn, he had a harder route there, but I'm still gonna give that same guy the recognition that moved up, only because he don't have the names or what have you. And sometimes names are overrated. Just because he's more popular doesn't make the guys better.
No, but usually popularity comes with resume.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
Usually, for the most part, yes.
No, usually that's not true.
Lion, I'm sorry in the chat, man. I don't know how the hell I put this guy in timeout. My hand must have just hit it. I don't even know this guy, C Lion. My bad, C Lion, for putting you in timeout. I've never.
But like I was saying,
all I'm trying to do is just look at the comments. I don't know. I must have just pressed it with my button. I mean, my hand. My bad, man.
And then remember, pound for pound is also subjective as well too. So when you
a standard.
And I think the standard should be added everything
individual. It's because that poll keeps coming up, Beebs. It's because I can't even see the comments. Oh, go ahead. My bad.
So you're saying you would rate Kambosos pound for pound if he becomes undisputed? If he does fight Devin Haney, why not? He'd be undisputed.
No, hold on. I wouldn't rate him pound for pound just yet.
Why not?
What the fuck?
It's his opinion.
Hey, bro, listen. I'm trying to answer your question. And my problem is with you dudes on here, like, you niggas want to cut me off in real life? You'll let me finish my fucking statement. God damn, nigga, let me finish it.
Man, Jay don't play, man. I ain't fucking with Jay, man. I ain't fucking with Jay.
He's talking about for 5 minutes about nothing. Go.
No, you can't.
Now I'm talking about nothing.
Let him say his.
Hey, bro, what's the point of talking to you? You already decided what I'm talking to you about. What's the point of that?
You already know what we're talking about. It's a conversation.
Jay, man, go ahead.
Damn, let the dude have his opinion.
It ain't
man.
no fucking conversation. A conversation say, hey, I say
Talking
what
right
I say.
now. Go.
You hear it. Bro, listen, player.
He's still going on nothing. Go.
My nigga, hey, bro, I'm done talking to you. Move the fuck
Shut
on.
up. Motherfucker, this nigga stupid. Fuck?
This nigga stupid. You talking safe from a fucking phone device.
Bro, you wouldn't do shit to me in real life, so stop talking.
Oh, stop!
Bro.
Come on
I
now.
promise
Don't
you I
do that.
would,
Don't
and we
do
could
that.
arrange
Come
that.
on, man. We
We
just
could arrange that. They got
boxing.
multiple.
Listen,
They got
listen, I'm in
multiple. They got
Sacramento,
multiple
California.
avenues.
Stop
Oh,
fucking
something
playing
what?
with me, bro. I'll put you
What?
in the dirt. Don't play with me,
Oh,
bro.
you'll put me in the dirt?
Yo,
Oh, I thought we
I'll
were gonna
put you in the
fight.
fucking dirt.
J
Don't play with
Mac,
me.
You'll
J
put me in the
Mac,
dirt, right?
yo, don't talk on J Mac. He's
come
a
on,
big,
y'all.
he's a big
Why
dude,
y'all
I
man.
don't like nobody talking to
J-
you like that. I'll
J
put
Mac
you in the
is
dirt.
J Mac is 6'5", man, and he's in
I
the
don't give
280.
a fuck.
How much you weigh, J Mac? Like
Yeah.
280?
I'm too much.
Fuck,
I'm
he
too
said it
much
like
for
he-
him.
He said
I'm
this
too much
motherfucker
for
like
him.
he Usyk. Bitch,
I'm
I
too
don't
much
give a
for him.
fuck.
Yo,
You
wow,
talking about
we
putting
talking
somebody in the dirt. You a
boxing. Y'all
fucking
can't get
clown,
that,
man.
You know what I mean? We're talking boxing, though.
No,
bro.
the
Alright,
nigga don't
like
have
I
no
said,
ethics.
Stop
He don't have
talking
no
to me like
ethics.
you gonna do something.
No, I'm talking to you because you starting to direct me and starting to
All
clown
right,
me.
man.
I don't do that shit.
The quality
I'm
of the
telling you,
show.
bitch, don't
Wait a
do
minute.
it.
Hold up.
Go.
Y'all
Enough,
all right,
man.
though, man.
Enough with this now, man. Let's just talk the boxing because this
Let's
shows
just
the
talk
G-
boxing,
Threatening
y'all.
me
it shows
shit.
it.
Like, man, I'll put
You gotta learn how to talk
Ruga.
boxing.
Ruga. Let Jay give his opinion. If you don't agree with his opinion, when he finishes, then you can just refute his opinion. That's all.
I
Yeah.
feel you. I feel
Yeah.
you, B.
Don't
It's just a
don't be
threat. I don't do
threatening.
the threat.
Yo, don't be
I don't
threatening
do the
dudes
threat.
on the internet because we ain't not. Chances are we ain't never gonna see each other. And trust me, I don't think you want to see J Mac. He's a big dude.
Yo,
I want to see
J
me.
Mac.
Now let's just go. Enough with the threats. Let's just go.
Man,
All right,
listen,
man.
I called
we
to
all
talk
just
boxing.
talking boxing.
Let's just
I
talk
called
boxing.
to talk boxing, and that's
ahead,
all I
Jay.
do.
Go
I
ahead,
don't
Jay.
attack.
All right, go ahead,
I don't
Jay.
attack nobody on here. I don't attack your opinion. I argue your opinion. Dudes need to learn how to talk boxing. Beef, you said we're talking boxing. Dudes don't know how to talk boxing without attacking you or trying to disrespect
right.
you in a manner that
You
I
right.
don't get that.
You right.
I don't
You
get
right,
that
Jay.
shit.
Jay, you right. Let's just we'll
But
move
J
on
Mac,
from
we
that.
are with J Mac, we are debating a little bit too. So you gotta, debating is,
I know, but
you can be respectful, but,
the dudes challenging him to fights, man. That ain't debating.
Yeah.
Bro, he literally was talking about doing something to me in real life. He ain't gonna do it. I ain't fucking with it, bro.
Enough, man. Just let
He's
it
not gonna
go.
do nothing.
Yo, let it go, man. Let it go. Go ahead, Jay.
Dudes always, yeah,
Jay,
like I
finish your
was
point,
saying.
Jay. Finish your point, Jay.
Like I was saying,
Go
I
ahead.
think I was talking about the standards of what you see pound for pound. It's
Yes.
a subjective list.
It's very
And what you
subjective.
see and what have you and what you value, accolades, accomplishments, fighting styles, moving through multiple weight classes. That's what I pick it through. And it still is going to have some of my personal subjectiveness in it because I can't escape me. I don't think boxing for everybody else. I'm open to saying, hey, that's a good argument. This is a good argument. I watched this guy move through these weight classes. I watched this guy move through these weight classes. I watched this guy accomplish this. I watched this guy accomplish this. But damn, this guy didn't have the big names or what have you. And I don't always value big names. Big names to me is popularity with your fan base who follows. Some of these fighters don't have that same success as these other fighters. So when I think I was talking to Corey Lee about bigger names normally being resumes, resumes can also stem for your fan base, the money, your promotional company put behind you, and everything. So, like, I don't balance it like that. I look at how a guy dominates his weight classes, and then I look how another guy dominates his weight classes. Now, they got all type of fighters to be on there, and I still have Terrence up there. I have Canelo, which I'm not the biggest fan of, up there, and I have Usyk up there because I was on Ring
Yes. All right, come on.
I was on Ring IQ show and he put something on me the other day about Usyk, the only guy, because we consider heavyweights not on that list due to the fact that they can't move through weight classes. But Usyk is the only guy who has moved to the weight class from cruiserweight to heavyweight. So with his accomplishments, I have him there and I respect his talent. I think I was being challenged on was it the standard? What was the question that old boy was challenging me on? I forgot what it was and stuff. So like I said, it's still subjective.
Ruger was saying, I mean, Ruger, you can go. Are you done, J Mac? Because Ruger, I mean,
I'm gonna finish off at that. Like I said, it's subjective at the end of the day, and I respect the guys. Oh, he was asking me Kambosos. Why wouldn't I put Kambosos on there? Only reason why, because he beat Tio beat Lomachenko and got the belts. Did not dispute. Cabrosa beat Teofimo. Teofimo didn't even get the chance to show, like after he beat Lomachenko, it's like he didn't show us that he was that dude. Like fight after fight, he lost the next fight. Cambrosa beats Tio and moves up and beat Devin Haney and becomes undisputed. That don't get him a pound for pound ticket. That gets him an undisputed. Now, what he goes on to do after that, then you can argue his status of being pound for pound because he's actually in one weight class. So
Well,
let's say he
subjective.
beats Devin. Let's say he beats Devin, and then
Yeah.
he moves up and become a champion at it would be 140, right?
Yeah.
Now you can argue his for my opinion, now you can argue
So
his
you
pound
like
for pound
guys to
status.
move up in weight, Jay. You like guys
Yeah,
moving up in
pound for
weight.
pound, you gotta move up because it gotta be part of your argument because you show that you can move up in different weight classes and dominate with that style.
Yeah. I mean, everyone got that criteria. Yo, what you need? What's going on, my man? What happening?
What's up, Joe Ab? What's up?
How you been,
What's
brother?
up, everybody?
It's been a New York minute, but how you been?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. During the COVID, it's been interesting, but I'm good.
Yeah. It's good to see you, man. So what's going on? What you think of the whole situation with this fight, man? What's your take on it?
Well, I was actually, like you said, I was watching everything, and I thought that the fight being taken so long to happen told me that something was up. And then I was listening to the attitude and the behavior of Kambosos' camp, and I was like, I'm not picking this fight. I'm going to watch to see what happens. And true to form, the fight turned out to be that kind of fight.
Man, it was kind of crazy. I think this fight was won on the mental preparation of George Kambosos and the lack thereof of Teofimo Lopez. Again, people yelling at me saying I'm making excuses. I'm not making excuses. I mean, I'm just basically saying one guy was mentally prepared, the other guy wasn't. Now, was that Kambosos' fault that Tio wasn't mentally prepared? No.
You know who I was interested made a comment. Tank's coach Calvin.
Calvin Ford.
Yes, he said that Kambosos is a good fighter, and then he said the fact that he had to wait so long for this fight
made him hungry.
Hungry makes him dangerous.
Made him hungry.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I give Kambosos all the credit in the world. He was the better man on the night, and that's all you can be, right? You win the fight, you win the fight. But
I mean, George Kambosos, in my eyes, man, he did a.
Oh, Corey frozen up. But I think moving forward, I think we're gonna have to keep an eye on Teofimo Lopez from here on out because we saw him have issues in the Nakatani fight because he let personal problems creep their way into that fight. And once again, he had some stuff going on behind the scenes. George Kambosos had some stuff going on behind the scenes. But again, one guy was able to overcome his problems outside the ring and one guy was not. Not just the way it is.
You know something about Tio's defense that I always, I like studying fighters. Tio's defense that I thought was a problem and he still hadn't worked on it was that overhand right. Because you can't use the shell. I was talking about it in my last stream. You can't use the shell. You have to use the high guard with the shell, and you have to also have distance. You have to know your right range, the right distance. And Tio has to work on that as well as he has to work on his feet. He has to work on how he steps, get those angles. Kambosos got them angles down pat, man. And he tough.
Kambosos got very good footwork. He's got quick feet. Got respectable power, not a huge puncher, but he's get your attention. He's a good fighter, but you're only as good as your last fight. And going back and looking at Kambosos versus Lee Selby, and then looking at Teofimo versus Lomachenko. I mean, you know what I mean? I know styles make fights, but it's hard to not go back and look at that.
He did not look that good in that fight, man.
Say again.
He did not look that good in that Lee Shelby fight.
Nah,
I mean,
that's what I'm saying.
Decision. Some people thought Lee Shelby won that fight.
I agree
so,
with
I mean,
what.
Go ahead, Ruga.
What you need, I agree with him. When even though Tio would cut off that ring, he couldn't get that distance down. He would shoot in with that straight, and then he'll lean down with it, around around, circle out, jab him a couple times, and he just kept peppering him. I didn't see a lot of power from Kambosos except for with that overhand. But other than that, yeah, that was a perfect
But
assessment.
like Kambosos said though, you guys, and I thought this was a very, very key point in his post-fight interview. Kambosos said that, and it was very telling because he said that his game plan was to hurt Teofimo early. That was his number one game plan, and he succeeded. He succeeded. He hurt Teofimo Lopez and he dropped him early. I know one of the announcers said that was a flash knockdown my ass. His legs buckled. Flash knockdown my ass. That his legs buckled.
He jarred
And
him.
so all of those rumors I heard in the sparring session that he had with, Tank Davis and some of these other guys and another prospect that was 7-0 about being dropped, I believe those stories now. I believe some of those stories now about him getting dropped in sparring and stuff like that. I mean, he went down, and I feel like that wasn't even a flush. I've seen Tio get hit with flusher shots in that, but that particular shot knocked his equilibrium off, and his legs were not there, man. His legs were not there. He did compose himself, and he did finish the round out. But it was one of those fights that was not a flash knockdown.
No, it was not. It was not.
Can I say this? Definitely Tio. I seen Tio, and what Tio confirmed to me was what I saw in the Lomachenko fight. I'm not gonna say he's a 6-round fighter, but his fighting style is similar to a 6-round fighter. Would I say that? It's like he an athletic guy that uses speed, decent footwork. And I don't really think he placing his shots. I think he's just punching and trying to get off. Yes, that works against certain level and certain tiers of fighters. But you're in there with a guy with a game plan and a guy who actually is strategizing on what he wants to do and has the mental discipline to do so. It's a different type of fight. That's why I say the 6-round fighter. 6-round fighters, most of the time, they don't have the discipline to lock in during the duration of the fight. So when the fight gets challenged and they ain't able to adjust to what you're doing. That's why I deemed him a 6-round fighter. So he did get exposed to me because I saw it in the Lomachenko fight, but I thought it just was the levels of the Lomachenko fight that he may have struggled with. I saw it in that fight when he fought that taller, I think Chinese dude. I forget his name.
Nakatani.
Nakatani.
Yeah, same thing happened there. Yeah.
I was live at that fight too.
I saw it. I saw the lack of discipline and lack of game plan. And then, of course, everything he done gave me for is the delusional talk about being undisputed. I gave Bud and Sean Porter their biggest paydays. Like all that stuff, I just was confused. Like, dude, what are you? Like, maybe somebody needs to take that pressure off you and get them belts off you and what have you, and just get in the ring and make the fights. But that's what I saw in that fight last night.
Yeah. Beam, what's up, brother?
What's up, you guys? Can you guys hear me? That sound okay?
Yes.
Yeah, what's going on, man?
Man, chilling. It was a good fight, y'all. It was
a good fight, baby. It was definitely a good fight, Beef.
Yeah, it was. I wasn't shocked because the way Themo was carrying himself too, being wild and not being humbled, just I don't know, man, his attitude, man. I was like, I don't know. But Cam, he did his thing though, man. He I watched the whole fight. I even watched it again, and he did win, even though what's name knocked Theo knocked him down, but he did win that fight, man. It was, like I said, it was a very good fight. But what's name came in there with too much. I don't know. This looked like
too wound up.
Right.
Too wound
Yes.
up.
Right.
Too
Yeah.
wound up.
Right. Too much emotions and
too much emotion.
Yeah. And then he had some I think he was having some issues prior to that too. Going into the fight. So, but still, I mean, you got to keep your head clear. You ready to fight, So that's all, gentlemen.
I got you.
Hey, Beebs, I got a quick question, man. I want to know, I don't know if you're saving this for the show later, but what do you feel like happens in a rematch for Kambosos versus Teofimo Lopez? What happens in this rematch if this rematch could happen? Kambosos already said he would fight him again. Okay, Lopez is the one that did not confirm him fighting him again. I didn't see in any post-fight interviews. I didn't see what he said on in the ring. He did not say anything about fighting
George Kambosos in a rematch, and the interview to ask him too.
Right. I don't know if there was a rematch clause. I don't know. I can't. I don't.
There wasn't a rematch clause.
Oh, okay. So, but that's
But what would happen in a rematch, you guys? For everybody that's on
I
the
think
show,
the longer,
what do you guys think happens on the
in my
rematch,
opinion, I
everybody?
think the longer Teofimo Lopez would stay at 135, the worse off he would be. I
Yep.
can't see him getting better at 135. I can only see him getting worse. I think he's busting out at the seams at 135. And he was actually breathing with his mouth open in the second half of that fight. And you could tell he was faded. Even though he scored a knockdown in round 10, you know, it was a good shot, don't get me wrong. But he was so tired he couldn't finish him.
I would say this, Corey. I think if what's name stay humble, if Cam stay humble, stay focused, he'll beat him again. That's the problem because, like Mickey, what did Mickey said on Rocky? Remember on Rocky 3? He said the worst thing a fighter can do is get civilized, and that's what's wrong with these fighters. And I keep telling everybody I tell these guys they want to get in and argue. Like when I come on A-Pounds, they want to argue.
I've been hungry since you won that belt.
Right. So I said, you guys, I've been watching. I'm 46 years old. I've been watching boxing all my life. These guys, they're hungry, but when they get these belts, they start relaxing, partying, and not being humble like Mayweather. Mayweather fought like he was broke every time.
But I feel like Lopez did not have that party and did not have all of that. I feel like 100% Lopez had family issues, man. This had nothing to do with him partying or nothing, in my personal opinion. From what I've seen on Lopez, I think that this is from his family. Family's doing it. His family being in disarray. His baby being born 12 days ago. His wife not being there anymore. His dad there. His mom in and out of his life. All of this shit is unraveling. Why this guy has the biggest? Well, we thought was not going to be the biggest fight of his career, which turned out to be a huge fight of his career.
Oh, I didn't know. Cam had all that issues. Was that Cam that had? Oh yeah.
Kambosos had some issues too, didn't?
Kambosos had some issues too. His grandfather died and stuff like that. I can respect that.
Grandfather passed away.
He had his own feelings, but I feel like this is an ongoing situation with Lopez. When I went to the Nakatani fight, I seen firsthand, and I interviewed him. I said, "Hey, how are you feeling after this fight? Is your family? I heard that you had some family issues and stuff like that." He almost broke down in front of us. People that were interviewing him about his family issues, and he said yes, it did affect him in that fight. He did answer my question. He said yes, it did affect him, and I feel like Joe Abib touched on a good point before you guys got on the live stream, and he said that he's not with his baby's mother anymore. I did not know that.
That's his wife.
I didn't see. Yeah,
that's his wife.
I didn't
see.
Married.
My bad. His wife.
Yo, you know what? Let me check this out, Beams. Check this out, Beams. I said this earlier, and people that already heard this, forgive me for repeating myself, but they did almost like a version of MTV Cribs, and they had like Teofimo Lopez and his dad, and they were looking at the house, and they were walking around the house showing everything, and they showed the little baby's bedroom, and he goes, "Yeah, he's not with me right now. He's with his mom, and we're not together right now." So that right then and there, I was like, "Oh shit!
Wow!
I wonder why I haven't been seeing her around."
Yeah, can I interject? Can I say something?
Go ahead, Jay.
I just read the earthquake comment. How far can you get with a motherfucker in the corner saying "fuck this motherfucker"? I guess that he got a point there. Like some of these dad coaches, I know we can get real passionate with our sons, and maybe that may be a language that he understands, but I don't understand that language because I read it as you don't have a game plan, you're trying to motivate him, and you're not giving him no strategic advice.
Jay,
and J Mac, this one thing I gotta say, I feel like Lopez's father lied to him. He literally lost a round, and I knew he lost. And his father said, "You won that round, son.
Every round."
He said
he won every round.
For a fact, he lost that round.
He said
all we could do is
tell your
use
son that, man.
all we can do is use what they've been saying. See, that's what I hate to do. Like outside of the ring, sometimes you can say that's just selling a fight, is talking. But I've been questioning their delusional state for the past however long this been going on.
That's
and
a year
he
and a
get in the
half.
ring a year and a half, and now he in the corner, clearly lying to his son, saying you won that round. Either you don't have the advice, I mean, or the instructions to tell him what he needs to do, and what have you. And it goes back to my 6th round fighting. Teofimo might be a great fighter,
Fighter.
and definitely accomplished way more than I done accomplished in the sport. And I'm not knocking him, but when I look at his the fights and how he struggled, I said, damn, he looked like a 6th round fighter to me. If it's too much going on in there in a game plan, they don't have it, they're not affected. I really believe, and before I say this, somebody argue, well, damn, he beat Lomachenko. This is what I think happened with Lomachenko. Lomachenko respected his speed, power, and size, and he
Right.
didn't want to. He
Right.
didn't want to. He
Right.
respected it too
Right.
long, and then he
Mhm.
waited
Yep.
to the second half of the fight
Right.
to start
That's true.
really taking it to him. And so that
That's
was
true.
a bad game plan
But
or
that's the
bad
same thing
on
that
his
happened
side.
in Kambosos fight. That's the
Right.
same thing that
Exactly.
Lopez did with Kambosos after he got knocked down in that first round. He
Right.
respected Kambosos the rest of the fight.
Right.
He did the
Right.
same exact thing that happened to him.
Nah, he was
Mhm.
still
Anybody,
coming at him. He was throwing one punch at a time, trying to take his head off with one shot. That's what his
Yeah,
problem
but that
was.
doesn't work though,
His
any,
B.
his
That
Right.
his
a-
output was way low, man. He had a low output, bro. Throwing one,
anybody know what's his name? Teofimo Senior. Do they know his coaching pedigree? Who
yeah,
else
and
he
this is
coached?
what I
he
want
got
to say
one.
about the
He only
coach. I
trained
just
his
want to
son. He only trained his son.
I
Yeah,
just
he
want
need
to
a
say
new
this.
trainer
I
because
truly
his advice
believe
was terrible.
Hey Ruger and everybody listening, I truly feel like Senior. I interviewed Senior before too.
I did
Nobody's
too.
saying anything about Senior, and when the wins were piling up, but when the losses come, now we're talking about Senior. This is an ongoing problem. Even when I was interviewing him back then, Tio was not 100% with his dad training back then in the Nakatani fight. So I just feel like there's already been chinks in his armor in his camp, and I feel like Lopez Senior should do exactly what Bill Haney's doing: play the business side, but
Right.
let somebody
Just so,
else
right.
train your
Run it.
son.
Right.
Okay, let
Right.
somebody. Bill
Yeah,
Haney is training
Right.
his son.
That's
He's
true.
helping
Right.
out, with the mitts and stuff like that. But he's
Yeah.
not. I feel like he's not the head trainer. So I just feel like that's why you seen, Floyd Mayweather Senior and Devin Haney's corner before, and you've seen
Right.
a list of other trainers. So I just truly feel like, right now, I think Senior should just go ahead and do his own self some good and let his
Right.
son flourish and let his son.
not only that, I don't see Teofimo actually improving in any of his technique. He's still fighting the same in every fight. It's like he doesn't have any other game plan. He has one mode, and he just
Can you guys
fights on
hear
that
me?
one mode.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, okay. What types of instructions is this? Oh, that dude ain't shit. Go out there and kill that motherfucker. Go beat his motherfucking ass. What type of shit is that? What type
And
of
I
fucking
think
instructions is that, bro?
Yeah, he
hey,
didn't tell him how to
Dick,
dodge.
that was
nothing,
Corey.
move out the way.
Was that Corey that
man.
said? I don't know if Corey was putting it out there. Like the critiques, the critiquing comes with me with the wins and losses. Most people don't. I coach basketball. I train boxing. I did boxing damn near all my life, so I understand a lot about boxing. And I critique fighters, and I'm to raise my sons through it too. My brother as well too. I got a twin brother as well, and his sons is he doing some great shit with his sons. They just actually they on their way back from Cincinnati. He took them out there from Dallas, Texas, where we stayed.
Mm.
Um, he drove them out to Cincinnati because he believed in just being able to get them boys experience and teach them the lifestyle because he make them live it day to day. But he also believed in showing them the different levels of talent out there and what have you. I've been more on the basketball scene because my daughter is a standout basketball player, and that's
Okay.
what I've been doing, and that's my oldest. My boys are younger than her. So they up next, and I've been focusing on more on the basketball side. Like I said, I coach basketball and I coach and train boxing. So when I was saying for is the critiques are always there. I see them with the wins and the losses. But most people are going to critique when you lose only because you lost. Like they're going to critique why you
Yeah.
lost, and it's going to be more prevalent why you lost at the same time. And I seen the mistakes being made, but it's sometimes you can own. I don't talk to them. I don't know them personally to where I can say, man, look, you won that fight, but I seen this and I seen that. And then on top of that, I don't know if I can trust that if I say that, them dudes won't take it a certain type of way. And all I'm doing is trying to give you my honest advice. So,
Right.
like, as far as giving advice and seeing what you're seeing, you see it. Like I've been seeing this adjustment that need to be made. I don't know his training history, and truthfully, they got so much boxing going on. I don't follow everybody training history. I don't say, oh, let me see what Teofimo started off with his dad. No, I didn't. I have not did that. There are certain fighters that I'm just a little more in depth with, and I want to go find more about their backstory. But they got a bunch of fighters running around here. I like Teo. I didn't think he could beat Lomachenko. He surprised me. I was happy for that win, but I saw that back end of the fight, and that made me question what type of fighter he really was. So like I've been seeing the mistakes made in his corner and Teal what he did in the ring.
Well, can I ask you guys? Can I ask you all guys this one question? Where does Teo go from here?
All right, I wanted to speak on that training thing too. I'll go real quick, but yeah, one thing in boxing, a lot of people don't do camps with other trainers and stuff, and I know why, because a lot of these trainers, they want fighters on contracts so they can have the length and they have that security. But in like I grew up wrestling and boxing, so in wrestling sometimes we go to other training camps, we go see other trainers because sometimes our coach, he can't propel us to do certain things at a high level, and he doesn't have that knowledge somebody else might have. So with Teo's dad coaching him, he might be at his highest level. His dad may not have another gear. He may not know something else to teach him. So I feel like he needs, maybe if he doesn't just leave his dad, maybe just go somewhere else for a little bit, maybe train somewhere else in another camp with his dad there, just so he could get some of that instruction, because he's not improving in any way.
No, he's not.
Ruger, he don't need to leave his dad. And I ain't say you said that. What he need to do is dad need to say, hey, I don't want to just like, that's another thing about a dad's. Oh, well, most coaches, because they want to hog that fight and want to keep it. Now I understand you invested. You didn't put time, you didn't put sweat, you didn't sacrifice. I don't know the story, but that's his son. And sometimes I think dads get prideful. I don't have no problem with nobody coming in and helping me along this journey because I'm gonna need it. And if his dad too delusional or too prideful to say, hey, I don't know this, let me get him with the expertise, that's a problem in itself. Then you leave your dad. But if your dad step aside and say, man, look, Ruger, I need Ruger over here and I need Corey Lee over here. They do this, they do that, and we need to work it as a team. We get together and learn how to communicate, respect each other's talents. If I'm the head honcho, just let me know, let's go over the Archie, but I respect your expertise and I respect yours, but let's work this thing together. And that's what a lot of dudes don't know how to do, because they don't know how to step out the way of their pride. And it is about the fighter and the invested fighter getting better.
Interject. Joey Camash was actually he was a coach that was coaching Teofimo Lopez through his dad. But as Kambosos said, somehow there was a fallout and Joey Camash is not part of that camp anymore. For those of you who don't know who Joey Camash is, that was a former world champion that Arturo Gatti faced, and his career ended because of Arturo Gatti, but very, very, very skilled, experienced boxer. And you always want to have veteran experience, even a upcoming trainer. That's why Tank's camp has what's his name?
Barry Hunter.
Barry Hunter from Headbangers Boxing.
Yeah, Barry Hunter's good, man.
Yeah.
And he has the big guy from Headbangers Gym as well.
Right. So
hey, let me ask y'all a question. My bad. I just want to ask you, do y'all think Kenny Porter, Angel Garcia, do y'all think they fall as those guys? I know Kenny let Barry in, but I don't think Kenny really let Barry in. But do y'all think they fall in the same as we talking about old boy Teo Dad?
I like Kenny Porter a lot, and I think he's probably one of the rare ones that I think is a great father-son team, in my opinion.
Right.
I don't like Angel Garcia as a trainer. I just don't think he's a good trainer.
Yo, B.
I think Kenny is a good conditioning coach.
Okay.
I don't like Angel as a trainer, man.
Kenny has an extensive amateur background. He's been training and been with the amateur
Kenny's
team.
been with the, you're right, what you need. He's been with these guys. He trained all these guys. You
didn't like Angel Garcia when he beat Lucas Matisse, Joe Abibs? You definitely gave him credit on that show after.
Not Angel Garcia. No, I don't like Angel Garcia. I never.
I don't
Gave,
think it was
I never
Angel.
like.
For that win.
I never like Angel Garcia. Nope.
You
Hey,
gave him credit for that Lucas
Nope.
Matisse win.
Danny, I give
hold
Danny
on.
credit. I don't like
Hey,
Angel.
hold on. Let me help B.
What?
Let me help B out in that argument. Angel
What?
shouldn't got no credit for what we know Danny could
Dang.
do. We know Danny could counter punch while you coming straight
That's
forward.
what I said. Yep. Yep.
Counter.
I give Danny
Can y'all hear
credit
me?
for that. I don't give Angel credit for that.
Well, who trained counterpunch? Who trained him to have that system? It's a system. It's not just Angel. There's a bunch of people
Yeah.
that the team
Listen,
of people from the system.
I ain't gonna get. I don't like any trainer
Yeah.
that when I'm
I had to
listening in the
call my
corner, when I'm listening in the corner, this is what I don't like. Go out there and beat his fucking ass. He ain't fucking shit. Go fucking kill that motherfucker. That's not instructions. That's
Come
not
on,
instructions to me, man.
He said,
Hey,
That's not
look,
instructions to me.
and Beef
I'm
at that
sorry.
level, Beef at
Exactly
that
what
level,
Teofimo
at the
Lopez
level,
said he
that's
was
not
doing.
that don't get it. I don't care how much motivation that is,
Nah.
because some fights get challenging to where
he
you
sounds
just
like
need
him.
more. You need more instructions. And
No.
anybody that gave Angel credit for we know what Danny could do. We know Danny could line you up with a counter punch if you catch you coming forward, and that's what he kept
Yeah.
doing. Luis Matisse was walking
know-
right into that counter punch, and Danny's good at that.
But the thing about it is, you can't give a fighter instructions on something they didn't do in camp or they didn't drill into them. So you could tell a guy, man, you need to use that jab, but if you never trained him to use a jab,
You know what I like?
So is it true that every fighter some fighters are just limited to where you can't give them the instructions because they're not capable of doing it? So
No.
sometimes you run into that.
no. What I'm saying is, you should have done all that work before. So when you go,
I didn't disagree with you. I didn't disagree with you.
Andre Ward versus Sergey Kovalev, for example. Virgil wasn't telling him specific instructions. He was giving him certain things to let him know he was better than he really was.
I love what Virgil said to Andre Ward. He's like, Muhammad Ali done got up. Sugar Ray Leonard done got up. You're gonna get up. You're gonna be great.
Hey, but look, let me tell you. Can I say something to that?
Go ahead.
Oh, good. All right, let me say something to that.
Shane Mosley, he said, go into the water swimming without getting wet. Mosley knows what that is because that's a drill.
I like what Malik Scott said to Deontay Wilder in the third fight with Fury. He goes, you were blessed with something that can end this right now.
Yeah.
I like some of them lines, man. Them lines is cool, man.
Hey, listen, there's a time and a place for that. What Virgil did was Andre was skilled enough to where he just know what Virgil needed to tap into more in the mental part. And that's what I think. I'm a big fan of what Virgil did in that corner. They got like my brother, he ain't a fan of Virgil. Like he thought and that's just his preference though. I thought he know what Andre needed. But like let's say Andre, because I think Andre was truly equipped with the tools to do so. But some fighters, I think what Toon was saying, you gotta go over it in camp. Yes, you can train in camp, but some guys just, bro, like everybody not blessed with a full set of arsenal. Some dudes do this good, some dudes do that great, and that's all they have. And you can't really teach what they're not capable of being able to do. Like in a training camp, you cannot make them. It's not like a creative player. Like you can buy a skill set and say we're going to add this and this. You just sometimes you just don't have it. You don't have it.
I wanted to speak on that because, like you said, you're right. Some fighters don't have certain attributes to fight a certain style and be super effective. Like to have Deontay Wilder go out there and just fight basically on a jab and it's not working, it's not going to work out for his style because he's a power puncher. But a guy Coach Ronnie Shields, I feel like he's a limited trainer, and that's why which one? Jamel?
Jamel left him.
Yeah, because he wasn't using his moveset effectively. And like I was trying to say, sometimes you got to leave these coaches because they can't propel you to a higher level or get you to do something at a certain level because they have a special style they want you to fight at. Ronnie Shields wanted him to stay on that in that mid circle. He wanted him to stay there and just work outside, and that's not what Charlo wanted. So he had to leave, and he went to Derrick James and started to use more of his power, get guys up out of there.
So, And look, like, let me say that what you just said, because I totally agree with you. I was I was on the boxing board saying, when AJ was shopping around for coaches, I said, nah, I don't want him to go to Ronnie Shield. I watched Ronnie Shield with Iris Landy Lauer. I watched him with Jamal at this point, and Jamal to me, oh my God, like he's struggling to me. But that's just my opinion.
He's
And
getting
I
hit too
watched
much.
him, and he, no,
He's
it,
not
but
getting better. He's not getting
it's
better.
Ronnie Shields. Is Ronnie
He's getting
Shields
hit
trying
too
to
much.
to me, certain fighters can't be put on robotic mode, meaning you punch when I punch, you tell you to punch. It's almost like he be asking Ronnie what combination you want me to throw in there and what have you. So I'm like Ronnie Shields. I respect him as a fighter, and I respect the success he had into training. But I definitely agree, he's kind of basic to me. When I say basic, it's like he limited. He wants you. He has a strategy behind it, but he can't make these guys fight it because Jamal, and he's explosive. He actually, I don't say he ain't the slickest, but he's strong. He's explosive. That needs to be put into a fight because you can't just make a guy fight a style that he's clearly not confident in fighting and don't have none of his own attributes that he can put into that style that makes him a unique fighter. Because you don't want to take their unique skill set out of it. You want to add to it. And I think Ronnie tries to make all the guys fight in similar styles, for as keeping your jab out, keeping them out your jab, and then pumping it and just keeping it at range and stuff. So I totally agree with you with Ronnie Shields.
Yeah, yeah. You know, and some guys is just better than other guys. That's just the way it is. Like Teddy Atlas aggravates the shit out of me after every fight. He tried to make it about psychology and behaving like a fighter. And dudes, the other guy was just better. That's it.
Yeah, right.
He wasn't behaving like a fighter. Like, get the fuck out of here, bro.
Yeah.
He's so freaking aggravating, that dude, man. He's the worst. I'm sorry.
So what happens in the rematch with Cam and Theo? I think, you know what? I think Cam might got his number.
Well,
I think Cam might have his
like
number.
I said earlier, they're already talking that Theo's going to move up.
Oh, he's moving up
immediately to 140. They've been complaining for the longest time that he can't make 135. He probably should have moved up right after the Lomachenko fight. I think a good fight. Yeah. I think a good fight would have been for him to just go up to 140 and fight a guy like Jose Cepeda, guy who's ranked and shit. That would have been a good fight for him. This whole thing about I'm going to move up to 140 and I'm just going to challenge Josh Taylor and yo, man.
Hey, can I say something about Josh Taylor?
Go ahead, Jay. Go ahead.
If you think Kambosos was out thinking him and had a strategy, Josh Taylor would kill Till, and he probably would knock him out. Like, people keep talking, and Tank all this shit talking about moving up and fight Josh Taylor. That shit sounds sweet.
Yeah,
I'm talking about Tank and Till. Them two guys moving up. Josh Taylor, big, he's massive, he's long, like he can box. And he's confident, he's a confident fighter, and I think he's good. Do I think he can move up and beat a Crawford? No, but I would love to see the fight. But if Teal moved up for some reason, let's just say he was able to beat Kambosos and moved up and got this Josh Taylor fight, we would be talking about this, but in a more of a dominating fashion, talking about he got knocked out. Because Josh Taylor would have killed Teofimo. Just too much to build a fighter.
Kambosos just hit the lottery in more ways than one, because Australia's got some big stadiums there, right? And you got guys like Jeff Horn and Tim Tszyu, especially Tim Tszyu, that sell out them big stadiums. They do crazy numbers in Australia. Boxing's a big sport in Australia. George Kambosos goes back to Australia. He's going to be making some big time money. And I can almost guarantee you, in my opinion, this is just my opinion, I think he's going to be fighting in that I think it's called the Sun Dome over there, 80,000 people. Yo, that's going to be he's going to have a great fight over there, man. I don't think he's got any mandatories lined up, so he can fight whoever he wants next. Damn, that's going to be great.
I just hope he just stay humbled and just stay focused, man. I
think he will.
Yeah,
I think he will.
I just hope that because when they start seeing them big checks and monies, I was like, come on, y'all, stay hungry.
He ain't gonna be throwing all his bags in a duffel bag, going to fights and shit. Trying to get up on stage, and he ain't gonna be telling everybody he's undisputed.
Right. That's the thing, man. Be humble, man. Just be humble, man, and keep focused. Stay humble. That's a lot of these fighters be like, man, why? Stay humble and stay focused, man.
No disrespect. Teofimo Lopez had like 15, 16 fights. His dad's already telling, "Oh, we're gonna beat Mayweather's record." Dude, I mean, the shit was just getting ridiculous. Like they were like a gaff machine. Every interview, they were like a gaff machine. They were gonna say something outlandish and crazy and shit. Yo, I liked Teofimo Lopez. You know, I was high on Teofimo Lopez for a long time. I actually picked him. You can see it on YouTube. I picked him to beat Lomachenko. I thought this guy was special, but I you know, throughout this whole layoff and the pandemic and shit, the whole psychological makeup of this dude was starting to get me second guessing myself. Like, again, even though I was second guessing myself, I still didn't expect to see what I saw last night. But I started second guessing myself and saying, "Damn, I don't know if he could beat Haney now. I don't know if he could beat Josh Taylor. I don't know if he could beat friggin' Tank. I don't know if he could beat Shakur." I started second guessing myself because of all this delusion and lack of self-awareness and this mentality that we're already here. We've already made it when there's still a lot left to do.
Right. Can I say this to what you just said? I always thought that Teo can beat Lomachenko, but like when I was telling what was his name, Corey earlier, he had to go out there and do it. I just wasn't safe with putting saying, nah, he will beat him. He had to show me he could beat him. And when he beat him, he beat him. And just like you said, I thought he was special. And I thought Tank moving up, fighting him, I was telling, man, Teo will kill Tank. Like, come on, man. Like, what are you talking? But then I started realizing some of the stuff you said, and you just pointed out how they was talking. And yes, at one point in time, you were right. I think they were special when they were hungry. But once they got fat and got fed, they lost that hunger. And so you can't, and I ain't say you said this because I did it with Adrian Broner. I thought Adrian Broner was the shit when he was fighting at the lower weight classes. And then when he moved up, I realized how quick he was, that it wasn't, that he really wasn't. So as fans, we can't get mad at ourselves. And I ain't say you did, B. What I'm saying is he was special when he was hungry. But as soon as he got fed, he lost it. I mean, he didn't keep it going.
That's what I said.
I was so disappointed.
There's still. I think Sean Porter is a special fighter. It's just that there are flaws in it. So it's all about improvement. It's all about bettering yourself. Joe Gans is a guy that when you saw him in the 1900s, it's not the same Joe Gans you saw late in the 1910, 1912, right? A different guy. He grew, he developed. And so Teo's on that course to develop. He's special. He has quick twitch muscles. You know, he's got great power. He's got punching ability, but he's skilled. Let's not get it twisted. He's skilled. But what I'm saying is that there are some holes that he never dealt with. That Nakatani fight showed us that overhand right can get over the shell. And so he was always susceptible to that, but because he was getting guys out of there so fast, you wasn't able to see that flaw. And did he handle it? Did he deal with that situation? So all I'm saying is he needs to work on certain things moving forward. And once they address those things, he should be, again, he will, you know how boxing is, it's up and down. You know, people will see him in a different light. He's a great boxer. I'm just saying great in the sense of his potential. He's fantastic. I think he's fantastic. Yeah. I think everybody learns from their experiences, and they need to work on certain things. On the back foot, Teo's not that great on the back foot, and it's because of that he counts on the shell too much. So if you just in the shell blocking up here, it's great. But I have to be facing you.
Right.
If I'm here, I'm susceptible. So it's all these little things that all those little things play a role in how a guy.
Even Mayweather did not use the shell exclusively. He had he had different hand positions too, man. So these guys, I guess they need to, they need to be more versatile. Right?
And exactly, and like that's a good point you made because Floyd used to use that high guard. I laugh and I always critique the high guard because I see so many openings with it. But there's a time and a place for it. If you're trying to get busy and being inside, like I tell, and I would train anybody, if the guy can fight better than you on the inside, it's not about out fighting the guy on the inside. It's about knowing when to fight the guy on the inside because you gotta just be able to dictate the action and when the action is being had and all that. So Floyd, I don't think was always the best inside fighter. Clearly not to me. I think guys that had a lot more they could have a lot more tools and equipped with more punches and placing their punches better on the inside. Floyd just knew when to fight on the inside. He
Oh,
knew
that's
when
a
to use
great
the high
point.
guard. He knew
Yeah.
when to use the Philly shell. And plus with his great reflexes, his speed, smarts, and his discipline, his mental discipline to fight the duration of a fight made Floyd how special he was. Now that we all get how many fights y'all said T.O. had?
16, I think. The 17.
16.
I think last night was his 17th fight, actually.
The worst thing that might have happened to T.O. was him winning them getting that fight against Lomachenko.
Yeah.
Because maybe he could have kept grinding and got hungrier
Great point.
for multiple styles
Great
and got
point.
better. Maybe the dad got the right type of training, which he didn't know, or added it to his camp, and he just fought so many styles that he realized he needed to grow with his versatility and everything. And maybe he could have been a better fighter. And I think the worst thing that happened was him beating. Now I'm gonna say getting a fight with Lomachenko and beating him, and it just went to his head.
I mean, George Kambosos is 28 years old. Teofimo Lopez just turned 24. So you could see that there's a difference in maturity too, the mentality and what have you. You know, Campos has been through more. He's kind of more grounded and just had a better outlook on things. You know, he just.
A lot from Tio still, and I think we haven't seen the last of him. I think we're going to continue to see him, but I just think he needs to work on certain things, and he'll be fine. It's boxing. You win some, you lose some. It happens.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it was
we'll
a decision loss. It wasn't like a blowout loss. You know what I'm saying? A split decision loss. It happens.
How did you think that the fight was close? What you need, or did you have it wide?
Round to 5. You remember Tio dropped him in the 10th, or is it 10th or 9th? One of them.
10th, yeah.
He dropped him. So you know, and Tio, when Tio used his jab, he actually was able to actually win the rounds. When he put away the jab, because Kambosos was countering him so sharply. Kambosos wasn't allowing Tio to get nothing off without getting the last punch in. He was very determined. And I think because of that, I think Tio was hesitant to really do what he wanted to do in that fight. So I think, but Kambosos, I thought 7-5. I think 114, 112 is what I had.
Okay, so you had it close. See, I had it a little wider. I only gave Teofimo Lopez 3 rounds. Most people I talked to gave him 4. I mean, there was some swing rounds in there. I thought round 8, round 12, round 2, I thought was swing rounds. But it was interesting.
On strong 5, 6, I think it was 6, the middle round. Because if you look, Kambosos' face is marked up. It fucked it up too. And that's from the punch.
Mm-hmm.
How do y'all score fights? Y'all score fights as y'all watching them? I got to go back and watch them. Like I just be too.
Oh, you don't.
Yeah,
If you
I had to go
have
back, right.
people around and stuff, I have an app on my phone, and I was at the Encore Casino in Everett. Me and my friend was there. We was like in a sports bar, and I was watching the fight on my device, and I had my scoring app, and I was scoring it round after round. Yeah, a lot of people like to score it after. I score it when I'm watching it. You know what I mean? And if I know I'm in an area where I'm going to be distracted, then I'll probably watch it again and score it after. But most of the time, just for the most part, I score the fights live.
I think
get it. Go ahead.
Jabbing, the guy who was doing the effective jabbing was winning the round. Because Kambosos would come with a double jab, and sometimes he hooked the jab, sometimes he hit you a jab. And it was once Kambosos was jabbing, you know, he was momentum of the first round, you know. So that's how I kind of figured out who was winning what and who was doing what. The better work.
It's just something about the energy and the nerves with me when I'm watching fights and stuff. I get excited when certain things go on. And I mean, I may be able to score it like constantly, but it ain't no real like scoring. I ain't really like breaking it down. I got to go back and assess it and look at the fight again to auto
Yeah.
score. That's pretty impressive that you score first up. Like you
You know why
you
I
did
do
that with
that?
the. Go ahead.
You know why I do that is because I want to put myself in the same situation and position as a judge. What sometimes what I get aggravated about, not I can't say I get aggravated about it, but what I disagree with sometimes is someone will watch a fight and then they'll go score it again, right? And they say to themselves, "Oh, well, I scored it for the other guy." It's almost like if you watch a fight a second time and you scoring it a second time after scoring it the first, it's like you're going out of your way to try to give rounds to the other guy because you're questioning your original scorecard. You know what I'm saying? That's why I don't like when people do that. Like I talk to people, oh, well, when I watch it the first time, I had so-and-so win it. But then when I watch it the second time, I had so-and-so win it. It's like, yeah, but did you really have so-and-so win the second time? Or were you trying to, go out of your way to give him rounds because you didn't like what you scored the first time?
And that's
You know
what
now, I have no problem when I'm scoring a fight live, checking off a round saying I could see someone giving it to this guy, the other guy, but I'm giving it to this guy because of this. I have no problem doing that. I have no problem saying, I have a hard time, in my opinion, saying Teofimo Lopez won the fight. But if someone gave it to Lopez, that's fine, whatever. I don't really argue scorecards. But from just looking at all the rounds, I think at best what I could come up with if I gave all the swing rounds that I had to Lopez, I could only come up with 113, a draw at best on my card.
Double knockdown.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't think Tio won that fight at all. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think Kambosos closed so hard too. I thought
one person I talked to had Tio winning the fight. My
Wow.
friend had, and I was surprised. But for the most part, I was, people text me when I'm watching the fight and they tell me what their scorecards were. Everyone pretty much had it like 8-4 pretty much for Kambosos. One guy had it 114 to 112 for Tio. But nobody had it 10-2 for Tio. That was some crazy shit at the end of that fight, bro.
And let me say this. I get your point, but when I watched the fight the second time, it's just something about being able to really pay attention to it because the energy is high on the first one. And after going into what Tio was talking, I mean, shit. I'm be honest. I think justice was served last night, to be honest. So that might have been played in there too. So you would have probably been looking at more of a bias for what Kambosos was doing anyway. So when I go back and assess the fight and look at it completely different, I always be able to see it clear than what I saw it the first time. And like I said, I'll be excited when I watch most fights anyway, and the energy be high with me. So like that's why I have to go back and watch them.
Yeah, I had the fight wide. I had it 9-3 for Kambosos, but
But what you could tell who was winning the fight. That's the important thing.
Right.
And here's the thing. I said this earlier. I don't know because I don't think y'all was here. The judges agreed. This is the crazy thing. I took some notes before I started. The judges agreed on 7 of the 12 rounds, but but out of those 7 rounds, right? They only agreed that Teofimo Lopez. The only rounds they agreed that Teofimo Lopez won. All 3 of them were in agreement in was round 9 and 10. The other 5 rounds 1, 4, 5, 6, and 11. All 3 judges agreed on that Kambosos won those rounds. So you had 5 clear rounds for Kambosos and 2 clear rounds for Tio, right? Yeah. So there was 5 swing rounds. So I mean. That tells you right there. And I wrote down my swing rounds when I was scoring the fight. I had rounds 2, 8, and 12. But so I guess it's not impossible to score this fight for Tio, but it's probably highly unlikely.
Unlikely.
Yeah.
But
that's exactly how I scored an Earthquake. I gave rounds 3, 9, and 10 to Tio. Me and Earthquake had an identical scorecard.
I don't think Tio fought a very bad fight. I just think Kambosos fought a much better fight. He was countered. Tio was a counterpuncher, but Kambosos was countering Tio And I think that made it different. And Tio didn't know what to do about that.
Let me
Yeah.
let me say this. I know we talked about the coaching aspect, and
Yeah.
Abib said it best. I think certain fighters just are better.
Yeah.
Like
He's
some
better.
dudes know how to, even if your coach don't tell you, you just know how to turn up another gear and go after something.
Right.
Um.
Hmm.
Okay. Like I just want to use this as an argument. What y'all thought about in the? I thought the close fight was pretty close with Porter and Bud. But
Oh yeah,
Bud
yeah, yeah.
clearly had levels. And then they got the video I was showing somebody say that told him that Porter was up going into the 10th
Yeah,
round.
I seen that.
And
I
he
seen that.
said, how? Like,
How?
for
Right.
real? And then he
Right.
went out there and
Right.
did what he did. Like
Adjustments. Made
and
adjustments.
adjustment
Hmm.
and went after
Right.
it. Do
Hmm.
y'all think Tio, and remember we just said Tio is young. We just say he had 16 fights, he's 24.
Hmm.
Do y'all think even Tio had the experience to even do that? Or it's just his levels? Or what would you say to that?
Probably inexperience did play a part in it, Jay.
Right.
I
Yeah.
wouldn't rule that out 100%. That inexperience didn't have a play a part in it, you know. But my concern with Tio is because he's such an emotional fighter. He's so
Right.
high and low mentally. This loss could ruin him.
I was
Could
thinking about
ruin
that
him.
too. Yeah.
I hope
You're
not, but
right.
it could
Yeah.
ruin him.
It
It could
could.
ruin
It
him
could. It could.
because you
It
saw
could.
the
Yeah.
win
It
ruined
could.
him. The win
Could.
ruined him because he
It
had
could.
this sense of that he was already there, like he already made it. So the win ruined him. Now, can this loss wake him up? That's a possibility. This could be a
Right.
wake-up call.
Right.
Or because the guy's so high and low, he could fall into a deep state of depression and it could ruin him.
You
Doing
know
it
why
right
I
in
would
Too
Garcia.
early,
say
too early to say that.
Yeah.
But
I
in the
mean,
back of my
let me say
mind,
why.
I'm
it's
going to
true.
be thinking it.
It's true. It be
Oh,
that's true. That could be
all
true.
right. Let me say this why I would say, Beeb, you might be right.
Could be.
Because I will argue what he said at the end of the fight. Y'all
Right.
know I won that fight.
Oh
Like,
yeah.
dude,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know, you didn't know you was in a tough fight. You didn't know you didn't make certain adjustments.
Lack
Like,
of
you got to know
self-awareness,
this
Jay.
stuff,
Lack of
right?
Right.
So
self-awareness. It's going to
so
destroy him.
how can a guy? Because in order, the process goes like this when you train an athlete. When you lose, you take, you humble yourself. You
Right.
take self
Hmm.
credibility on the things you were great at and the things you weren't great at. Or if some of them things we've been telling you that you needed to work on and get better at came to light, you got to be able to recognize that. He just be like like a WWE type of wrestler personality. Like he just talks it up and really does the work. That can still be proven, which would be your point, B. But I'm listening to what he said after the fight, and y'all
Denial.
know y'all won that fight, and I'm like, what? Like, dude, like you gotta
Right.
take that in and
Jay,
Right. Right.
Jay, they didn't just say they won the fight. They said they dominated the fight 10
oh
rounds to
my
2,
god,
11 to
Nah.
1. So
Nah.
like you said, Jay, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, but if you can't address and pinpoint and see that you had a problem and you're ignoring that you had some issues in that fight,
Right.
then you can't correct it.
right? Me and my brother got this saying. Me and my brother got this saying because we always talk about what if and what could have. I think our struggles was our struggles why we didn't go as far as we could have went in boxing, just for starters. But definitely with our kids, we definitely use that to better our kids through our lack of our over emotion or our attitudes or stuff like that. So
Right.
we speak on that a lot, and we always come up like we come up with this scenario. What if my brother would have been fighting a certain fighter? What would I have been saying? I say I keep it real. Y'all probably wouldn't like my interviews. I'll be honest. Y'all be like, damn, he don't sound like he confident in his brother winning. It ain't about confident in my brother winning. I know what the task of hand is ahead, and I know what
Right.
my brother needs to be ahead of and respecting this dude to know it is. Some dudes have a skill set that you know is going to bring certain challenges, and so you just
Right.
can't never be of the mindset to where you're overconfident. Yes, you can be confident instead of cocky. Cockiness gets you exposed. And my last thing
Right.
is this: fighters got to go through that fight mode and understand it's okay to have fear and be aware of the guy you get in the ring with. It's about what you get in the ring and what you do with it. And see, when guys be sitting up and say, I'm not afraid, I'm not afraid, they may not, but they should be concerned or nervous because that's still some form of fear. But it's about what you do when you get in the ring once you face with those challenges. And that's what a lot of fighters don't know how to take that step-by-step process, because sometimes they got guys lying to him. Sometimes they got dads saying, knock that motherfucker out and stuff like that. So you got so many levels to where the guy can't actually check in. He can't check into, hey man, I'm concerned. Okay, what do I do when I'm concerned? Okay, I'm being challenged now. I have to figure this out. That's all healthy processes to go through when you're in a fight.
Absolutely.
I think when people go, the different people have different. Some people are gracious in losing, and you remember Pacquiao. And some people are not gracious in losing, and sometimes they say outlandish things, but it don't mean nothing. It's just them, saying, I wanted to win.
The problem I have with the Lopez's is they're just cringe. They're just cringy, the shit they say, man. I started. I'm gonna be honest. I'm gonna be honest. I picked Lopez to win, but I shouldn't say this, but I was actually rooting against him last night. I didn't let it affect my scoring because I showed you my swing rounds, and I'm saying it could have been closer if I gave swing rounds or whatever. But I was actually rooting against him because I just didn't like what I was seeing. I said to myself, I can't root for a guy like this. I just can't. All the crazy shit they were saying. Let me just read this super chat real quick, and I'll let you go. Not says PBC robs another fighter who isn't their A side. Oh, he's probably talking about the Figueroa Fulton fight. I thought Fulton edged that fight out, but I'm not gonna argue it.
I got to go back and watch that one. I couldn't get to that one. I will say this: you're not wrong with saying that.
Good.
You're a fan. You're still a fan of the sport. Now, if you was in somebody's corner or you was being paid, I'm sure you'll keep that to yourself.
Sure.
Tio made it hard for you not to root against him. Man, listen, I watched the fight, Lomachenko and the Tio fight, and I thought Tio could win. I just didn't think he had the experience, and I thought Lomachenko would figure out how to do it. I saw that at the second half of the fight, but I was glad he got the win. All right, after all this going on, I'm like, yeah, come on, Tio, because I know you're gonna make these fights happen. Oh, whoa, what you talking about? You're not undisputed, but you're saying you're undisputed, but hold on.
But he's not.
Like, and stuff. So, and I'm like, man, this dude, every interview, everything I hear, I'm like, contradiction. He just saying stuff. And so by the time, and then they kept pushing the fight back. By the time that fight came, I was going for Kambosos too. Like, because I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're my favorite fighter. If you start saying shit that contradicts my beliefs of what made you there or made you who you are, I'm going to call you out on it, because you can't keep pumping out bullshit. You got to pump out the right shit. You got to say the right shit. And I'm a fan of the sport. I don't get to pick what you do and say. All I get to do is pick and be a fan of you for my certain reasons of why I like you. But if you talking different and you start changing up your tune, shit, I'm gonna be rooting for you again. I'm gonna be rooting for you anyway. So, like I say, I think justice was served last night. And
all fighters are prideful. They talk shit or whatever. Yeah. But the dad was coming out, and you can see there's video footage on it. Shout out to Maestro Boxing. He put a montage together of all the crazy shit that Tio Senior said. He's sitting there saying, "Oh, Canelo ain't shit. Triple G ain't shit. Those guys fighting bums. My son will beat them all." And we're going after Mayweather's record, dude. Like I said, you have fucking 16 fights. I mean, we're gonna go up and beat Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's afraid of us, and me and Canelo and us are the only true fighters out there. This, like, all this shit was just like too much, man. Shout out to Twitch and Ash. He says Kambosos is a Spartan warrior. The Greeks have fighting and war embedded in their DNA, hundreds and hundreds of years of war. Thank you so much. But yeah, just constantly listening to this shit, and then reading his tweets. He's saying all this like crazy shit on Twitter, like constantly sending out these Tony Robbins type tweets. Like, you're saying to yourself, are you trying to convince yourself that you're all right? Are you trying to convince me that you're all right? Blessed. Every day is a blessing. Like, saying that shit every day, like day after day after day. Like, okay, dude, you're a fighter. You're not a motivational speaker. Start focusing on your fighting career. Like, then he was like saying he was suicidal at one point on Twitter. He tweeted out something about suicide and shit because of the pandemic. I mean, it's just crazy, bro. It was just crazy, bro. The level of delusion was just too much for me, man.
So many we're getting
And,
so many upsets
and
because
then
that shows how
Right.
the divisions are. And I think Haney versus what's my boy's name?
Jojo Diaz. Jojo Diaz is a live underdog, man. I may lay a little something on Jojo Diaz. He can win that fight.
Yes, he can.
Because he can fight on the inside. Devin Haney don't like to fight on the inside. That's an interesting fucking fight, bro.
I got Devin Hayden after that close call. So like some people said when he took that when he shoulder roll and took that punch,
Yeah.
I got Devin fighting on the outside and controlling the range with that jab and his movement and his foot speed.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to not. I mean, he definitely should be favored. There's no question about it. But I think Jojo Diaz is very live in that fight.
A real fighter, yo. That's a real fighter.
Yeah.
He can't really. You know what he did to Gary Russell Jr. He went to Gary Russell Jr. He went to Tevin Farmer. What I mean is the experience. And then for this tough guy, Fortuna, you know, rough, rugged. And
I didn't think he was going to beat Fortuna. I picked Fortuna to beat him. He shocked the shit out of me.
Okay, then.
Yeah, I'm high on Fortuna. I think Fortuna is a very skilled fighter, man.
So
I like Fortuna.
Joke, man. I would love to.
He shocked the shit out of me, man.
That's why I'm excited for the fight. What you just said, though. I still Devin longer, from my understanding, and I didn't know him until.
Devin got some crazy ass long arms, man. He got
and Devin, I'm willing to bet Devin is going to fight this fight on the outside and constantly reset him. He won't allow JoJo to plant his feet and stay in front of him. He won't allow that to happen.
See, Devin and Devin's dad. I love Devin's dad, and I think someone said earlier about Devin's dad. Devin's dad is very humble. And he knows
that's the thing, right?
He knows that he needs help, and he brings guys in to help him. He's constantly getting advice. He don't take control of his son's career. He's there for support, gives him some advice, obviously. But I talked to his dad on the Boxing Voice. Shout out to Nesta Gibbs on the Boxing Voice. His dad's a great guy, man. He's a nice guy, very humble, very respectful. And that's another thing. When they rolled up on Bill Haney and they rolled up on Devin. And Tio's talking all that gangster shit, man. It's it was I just didn't like that, bro. Man. I didn't like that, bro. I mean, again, it's part of the game, but that was that was some extra shit, man. It didn't seem authentic to me, man. You know,
Steve, he just had already fallen on your questionable list, and so everything he does is questionable after that. And I didn't really have a problem with what he did with that one. I thought Tio was being himself. Some people try to make a big deal about the word and the verbs he used, which
I didn't like the word either, man. But I don't have a right to complain.
Right.
But I just didn't like it.
No, I didn't care. It didn't bother me. Only reason why, because I felt like they was shit talking, and obviously Devin wasn't challenged by it. They just was in the back of. You don't get to pick and choose. See. Like when I called in earlier, we're talking boxing. I want to have a conversation with you, brothers. If we disagree, we disagree. But you don't get to insult in this platform. You don't get to insult me because of my opinion. Now, we're trying to fight or we're saying stuff to and we're in a situation where I want to attack you verbally. You don't get to choose the words I use and what have you. So that's what I'm saying. I felt like that situation was proper for that. Tio and Devin been having some beef going back and forth. Nobody gonna monitor what they're saying. What you are and how you speak is gonna come out naturally, and that's what happens in situations like that. So I didn't have a problem with Tio. I just had a problem with everything else Tio and his dad was saying about the undisputed, about everything he was saying, the meeting with Bob, signing the petition, the email champion, all that shit was bullshit to me. And what have you. And that was my biggest problem with them.
Mayweather record. Oh, we the only guy that can beat Canelo. We're gonna beat him in 5 years. Dude, Canelo's 32 years old. What you think he's gonna stay around till he's fucking Canelo ain't gonna be around another 5 years, bro. No, he probably fight another 3. He ain't fighting until he ain't fighting when he's 37, 38 years old. He don't have to, bro. We in Canelo's class now. Dude, you're fucking 60. I mean, again, I'm not raining on anyone's parade. I respect any fighter that gets in there, but the lack of self-awareness was just too much for me, man.
He's a good fighter, and I'm looking forward to more things with him, just like with Sean Porter. When Sean Porter got beat by Kell Brook, I was still a Sean Porter fan.
I love Sean Porter, man.
Rock with Teofimo Lopez to the end. I don't care what nobody say.
Yeah.
And but
Hey,
at the same time,
what tune do you think he needs to fight? How would you feel if? Let me ask you this. It's kind of a two-parter question. Do Devin Haney needs to fight Teal still, or how would you feel if Devin Haney said no to fight him?
Kambosos is his target now.
Right.
No, I agree with that. No, but after Kambosos, let's say Devin stays at 135. What if Devin chose to say, "Nah, I'm gonna do what you did me," or if let's say Teal wants to really come after Devin now, how would you feel if Devin say no when you had your chance?
I wouldn't
you was
care.
given.
Well, really, I don't think Teofimo Lopez, first of all, will stay at 135. I think he's moving up. But other than that,
if that were to happen,
they put each other up in those higher weight classes, they're gonna clash. They're gonna clash.
Even Eddie Hearn was saying before the fight, we could do Teo Devin. It doesn't have to be at 135. We could do it at 140.
Right.
See, the writing was on the wall. He was like busting out at the seams at this weight class. I mean, he just was. If it was me, his dad for like a year, maybe even more than a year, was saying we can't make 135.
Devin's too big for the weight. Ryan, Devin, and Teo are big dudes. They big. They're not really supposed to be at 135 right now, but they're hanging out there to get belts and stuff. So Teo got
Devin's dad, and Devin ain't never complained like Teo and their dad been saying. They've been saying for the longest time, we want to move up to 140. And even by Eddie Hearn saying, okay, we can do Teo Devin at 140. Yo, I'll be utterly shocked if Teo fights at 135 in his next fight. He could get this rematch in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, Kambosos, there's no doubt in my mind, Kambosos would not fight him in Australia. No doubt in my mind. I just don't think they want it. I don't think they want it.
In Australia, they already turned that down.
Yeah, they don't want it. They ain't gonna take that fight.
But I'm telling you, man, them boys is bad boys. Teo, all them boys is bad boys. But it's just that it's a learning experience. And Tank went through it in the amateurs. Coach Calvin said Tank got too heady in the amateurs and got his ass beat, and that calmed him down. So the same thing with Teo. He gonna calm down. I know he got family issues and all of that, but boxing keeps you focused. Boxing keeps you together.
People can say what they want about Tank, but Tank still has a good head on his shoulders when it comes to listening to his trainers. Think about it.
Yeah.
Think about this. Think about this. No disrespect to his other trainer, but he brought in Barry Hunter for this camp, right?
Yes, sir.
So he knows, like he's trying to bring in a second set of eyes. He's trying to get a different look. And we know Barry Hunter is a phenomenal trainer. We know what he did with Lamont Peterson. He helped out Adrian Broner. We know all that, right? So we know that Barry Hunter can help Tank, and Tank knows that. And Tank don't talk that crazy shit either. Like he's not telling you, I'm better than this, I'm better than that. Like he got a good head on his shoulders, man. I'm not gonna say I love every. I'm not gonna say I love every matchup that he's in, but it is what it is, man. I mean, I can respect his hustle.
Yeah. I ask y'all a question. If that Rolly fight would have happened, who would have won that fight?
I would have think Tank would have won that fight, but I would have.
He's a big guy.
Tank would have killed Rolly.
But Rolly would have made that. Rolly would have made that fight fun, though.
Yeah.
What
I
the
like
talking?
Rolly. I like Rolly.
I love
the talking
Rolly.
part.
Yeah.
The talking part. Tank would have killed Rolly, man. And I'm
I don't see.
fan.
I couldn't see Rolly beat. I hope they eventually do fight, though, man.
Hey, but it's boxing, though. You never know. You never know.
Yeah, I know.
You never know.
Well, you're right.
You never know,
never
bro.
know.
You never know.
You exactly. But I know no. I know for that one. Like I'm certain.
But he had me laughing at Rolly had me laughing at press conference. He had me cracking up.
Oh, he had me dying. He had me fucking dying,
man.
bro.
I almost had a heart attack.
I wasn't laughing.
Hey, give him an Oscar. Give him an Oscar.
I wasn't
Can I
laughing.
say this?
I was dying.
Can I say this? 140. I think that is what you need, right? What you need.
What you need.
What you need. Tio at 140. I just seen about put Brandon Lee. They got Brandon Lee down there. They have Devin Haney probably gonna move up. They go have I don't know what Ryan gonna do. I'm sure Shakur be there soon, but I don't know how soon he trying to get to 140. If he's gonna skip over 130, I mean 135, and he may just be built that way too. But I'm gonna add him in there. 140 gonna be a tough task
Yeah,
for
those guys hit harder.
Tio
They hit
and
harder up
stuff.
there.
So
You
if
know
we
what?
talk about
They hit harder.
if we talking about him making adjustments, needing training and what have you,
Man,
he gonna have a lot to prove moving up to
yeah,
that 140. It's gonna
they
get
hit harder.
steeper and steeper.
Yeah, they hit harder.
Exactly.
And that's
And they
beautiful.
box. They
That's what we
box
want
too.
for fans. We
Yeah.
want
They box too.
Right, Jay. Right.
I can be a fan of a boxer and he gets his ass beat, and I
Yeah.
feel like him, there's nothing wrong with that. I'm a fan of many boxers because I learn little things from each and every one of them. So I'm a fan of boxers, get your ass beat or not. You may entertain, in different ways. So, I'm just saying, I like my boy. I like Tio. Tio got a heart. He got heart. He got skills to back up some of it. Just you need to work his craft. And I'm nobody. I'm not. I'm not like these modern day people. You get your ass beat once and it's over. I'm not like that. Right. The greatest fighters got beat multiple times. Right. So, for me, what is important is what makes you. What's your niche? What I like about your style. And that's all. If you bring exciting fights, this dude, his name Lopez, Posecito. Who doesn't like Posecito? He always give you an action-packed fight. He gets out, but he's fun to watch. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying.
Hey, Jay, but do you think Theo moving up, would that hurt him or help him?
It's gonna help him for the weight cut. But this what I can only critique the fighting style. Tio is shorter than Devin. I didn't know he was that shorter than Devin. And I would say them guys, honestly, Brandon Lee's are, if you're not the same height, or just a little taller, maybe. That's one of the guys. And we know we got Josh Taylor there, if he's still there, which I'm sure he'll be moving up soon. We got Ramirez, we got a few other guys, and y'all know the guys we got. My thing about T
in there too. Don't forget Antoine now.
Oh yeah, Antoine. What? Oh my God, he'll beat Tio. Listen, see that little shoulder roll shit he doing, hand speed and athleticism, and can't fight backwards. He gonna need that against those bigger guys.
Right.
And them guys can box. Them guys can box just as good as the 135 pounders can box.
Right.
They're just fighting at a heavier weight class because they're maybe slightly bigger, and what have you. So, and I'm not gonna say slightly bigger because weight cut is about who can manipulate their weight and cut the weight. So some guys actually are the same size. They just can actually drop more pounds. So that's where something I wanted to argue with when y'all was saying about how many pounds you cut and all that, because it's called weight manipulation. But when he move up to 140, he gonna have a tough task. And I would hate to see Tio get in there and do some Danny Garcia and fight these guys that he look good against. And as soon as he fight one of the stiffer competition, you go see that, like, damn, dude, like, you gotta really be one of them guys that we gotta monitor who you fight, and we gotta match you up right. Because as soon as you get in there tough, you don't have the skill set to actually be. Tio needs to go back and hone on his skill set and keep growing as a fighter. Possibly get a new trainer, add a new trainer before he move up to 140, because I don't think 140 is safer for him. I think it gets worse.
Yeah, could get knocked out. I don't want that to happen. I don't want that to happen. Crack. Oops.
All right, y'all. We going on 3.5 hours here, man. I gotta get this day fucking started, but make sure you check out the Ringside Reporter podcast tonight, 6 p.m. Eastern time.
All right.
Make sure you check out everybody. Make sure you check out What You Need. Jay, always see you on the Boxer Voice. Hear you on the Boxer Voice. I don't see you, but hear you on the Boxer Voice. Always a pleasure. Beams,
Yes,
nice to talk to y'all.
Right.
Enjoy the rest of y'all's day, man. And thank you guys for joining in. And thank you for the input.
I will subscribe to the channel. Appreciate you, brothers.
Thank you,
Appreciate
guys.
it. Thank you.
Be good. Have a good one, everybody.